Fuego Pizza presents SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wild, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Welcome to the burnt out last episode before the Christmas break, Jesus. We're so tired. This is, there are 2 times of the year where we're actually burnt out. This is one of them. The other one is the episode that happens July 2nd or July 3rd. That's both of these shows are they're a bit goofy.
But they're the last day of school.
They are the last day of school. Yeah. So this is the last day of school. We will be back on the 5th for our show. Of December. Yeah, we got our little holiday gift exchange that we're gonna do today. Always, we got some Bachelorette bios.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, yes.
That's amazing.
Wait, did Steve forget something?
No way.
Oh, shucks.
And as a fun thing over the holidays, it was suggested to us that we should do several different topics, and we're going to record them after we record this show. But you'll see them come out throughout the winter solstice. So you're going to see...
Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, it's coming up. You're going to see...
That's like tomorrow.
Yeah. You're going to see the Leafs All-Decade team. Top Leafs moment of the decade. Top 3 NHL moments of 2019.
Some predictions.
Yeah, some predictions. So we're going to have a whole bunch of that stuff that you're going to be able to have while we're gone. So that way you don't forget about us.
Because people call us the Content Kings.
Content Kings.
KCs.
We're
of
right
the
up
internet.
behind. What's that kid's name that made $26 million?
Ryan something?
Ryan's World
Oh,
is the
toy
top
kid?
paying YouTube kid. Is second year in a row, and over the last 2 years, in 24 months, he's made $48 million.
Less than 50. It's like Jordan Belfort, which pissed me off. I felt just short of $1 million a week.
Which pissed me off.
That's that kid. That's unbelievable, man.
That's crazy.
Crazy money.
Insane.
money.
So I was doing a interview with I don't want to say boomer. What's just after boomer?
Gen Z.
No, Gen Z.
No, sorry, Gen X.
Gen X. Okay, so I was talking to a Gen Xer who was going to they were going to.
Well, what year were you thinking they were born? Gen X was came of age in the early 90s.
They're like a little over 40.
Okay, yeah, Gen X.
Yeah. So they went to it was a bar down event that happened recently, and they're like, Steve, I don't get it. I don't understand any of it. I saw this video. Oh my God! You all right, Jesse?
Just an update for anybody not watching. Jesse almost died.
I got it.
He's good.
There's a light that's the only thing in this studio taller than he is, and it almost fell right on top of him.
We're going to have to just tighten that little screw on the thing there.
Watch the cord there. It's around the middle of it.
That's okay. The cord's
Continue
fine.
the show.
Anyway, why were you bringing this up? This is interesting. Why? So he's a Gen Xer. He went to a bar down event, doesn't get it.
Now I'm trying to remember why I brought it up.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, yeah, I don't get it. So I was like, man, there's lots of things about YouTube and podcasting. Here, I can enlighten you. I go, for example, do you know who the highest grossing YouTuber is? And to my surprise, he actually threw out a couple names.
Like PewDiePie, something like that.
Well, he didn't know the name. He's like that video game guy. And I'm like, PewDiePie? No. Ninja? That might be it.
Yeah.
Okay. I go, no, it's the 7-year-old that you have never heard of. He's like, what? He Googled it, and it's the South Park thing. And it's the world's most famous person. You've never heard of them.
Yes. Yeah. And it's toy reviews.
I'm alive,
That's
by the way.
He's alive.
Hey.
Jesse's back.
I
Toy
survived the
reviews.
light attack.
That's all he does. He just plays with toys.
That's it.
It's cool.
Man, that's what I do. I just do my videos for my toy dungeon and figure dungeon. Sorry. And just have a great time.
His doll does.
Figures!
Does he play with them? And I've never watched one of the videos.
I
Does
haven't
he play with it in a fun way?
I'm sure when Everly grows up, I'll have to start watching all the bad YouTube videos. But you know what? From what I understand, the toy unboxers are really interesting because they'll start and they'll just be in an apartment or a dirty, dingy basement or something like that. And then over the course of a couple of years, you can sort of track their success by the background of their videos. So they'll get a ring light and then they'll upgrade the camera. And then all of a sudden it's a beautiful white background. And all of a sudden they're in a palatial mansion because they make so much damn money.
Yeah.
And sport, we picked really, you picked, Steve, because honestly, there's no show without you. You picked a niche sport that's really popular in Canada and is like the sixth most popular in the United States. And
if that.
Yeah.
If that.
You really went for that global game-changing audience there, Steve.
I didn't mean to. Whenever people scold me on my career choices, I'm like, I didn't mean to.
Man.
I just kept doing stuff.
We could have just picked toys.
We hitched ourselves to the wrong wagon.
We could have done children's show. We could have been Baby Shark.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hey, one of us has been on a kids podcast. Adam, show of hands. No, that's me.
You run a kids podcast?
Yes, I was.
How was
What
that?
did you do?
The Story Store with Gary the Unicorn and Mr. Orlando. And it was great.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know that? Oh, so
You're saying that like I should know.
on the podcast. Let me explain it. And you can all look this up after. You listen to this right after this podcast. So CBC Kids has a show called The Story Store. And it's a store owned by Mr. Orlando. He's a moose.
This is a TV show.
Yes.
On the
but
CBC.
they have a podcast now.
Oh.
Yes.
They have the kids show has a spin-off podcast.
Yes. Yes.
2019.
National broadcaster. Absolutely. Mr. Orlando owns the Story Store, and Gary the Unicorn is his helper. But he's very hyper and often doesn't help as much. But he has a heart of gold. Gary the Unicorn does. So kids write into the Story Store, and they say, I want a story about a Triceratops playing the guitar. And the Story Store has to come up with a story about a Triceratops playing the guitar.
This is awesome.
Which
Live
is
on the spot?
not
No.
live on the spot, but maybe they do. I don't know the magic of the Story Store. I'm not an employee like Gary the Unicorn and Mr. Orlando. So I barge into the Story Store and I just tell them that I'm their biggest fan. And I stand there while they make this story for this child about a Triceratops playing the guitar.
Wow.
Have you ever been on that? No!
I
You do
haven't.
this in the podcast.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
cool.
a big hockey fan. And Mr. Orlando says, Steve Dangle?
This is awesome.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, it is.
When did you do that?
It was like a month ago.
Really?
Yeah, well, I
Man.
recorded it in the summer.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah,
There's
it
so
only
much
came out
going
a month
on now that it's almost like it's pretty tough to keep up with, like any like even our like.
I do a lot of shit.
We see each other twice a week, which is more than I see my parents. Almost as much as I see my family, and sometimes it's just impossible to keep up with what's going on with you two. I don't, it's just a lot going on.
Oh.
And I see Jesse every day, and I'm like, there's still stuff that slips through.
Yeah, did you hear I did this thing called Dang It's the other day? And
yeah.
then I filmed that Dang It's right before I did ice surfing.
Yours should be called Bang It's.
Bang It. I think that's something else, Adam.
Oh, sorry. That might be a different website. Hey, I'm Jesse with Bang It.
No.
You need to talk to Jay Zito there. Adam.
That's there you go.
Yes.
Yes. What's up, Jay? Hey, let's get into who wore the crown. Again, you live generously and life will treat you royally. Why not pour yourself a crown royal?
Why not?
Maybe for your friend too. Why not?
Why not?
Because we got to find out who wore the crown. Where we, with the help of you, recognize one Leaf player from, the last game or whatever, who represents our town and our crown. But here's what we're going to do differently this time. Because live generously, life will treat you royally. That's Crown's motto. Who has, for the first, I think, 31 games of the season, lived up to that motto? Live generously, life will treat you royally.
So we're doing Crown of the Season.
Crown of the first half of the season.
I got mine. You guys got yours?
I got mine.
Let me think.
How do you... Shut up. My crown has to go to this team's most valuable player. They show up every single night. Mm-hmm. It's rare that you point at them and go, ugh, what are you trying?
Is it going to Carlton?
He can do a backflip in a bear suit. And I don't think there's many Leafs who can do that.
Don't think there's one.
Mine goes to Carlton the Bear. No, mine goes to Freddie Anderson.
Wow.
Freddie I know. On a team
The
with
takes are hot.
3 players making over $10 million who at least 2 of them deserve to. Mm-hmm. Which is a talk I'm sure we'll get into. But Freddie Anderson...
Is that a talk we're going to get into?
I don't know.
We've done that.
Who knows? Well, we've done that then.
That is like a ubiquitous topic. It's like, hey, I'm doing a radio show this week, and I don't know what to talk about. Let's complain about who's contractually paid what on the Leafs.
That's when you're paid money to do a radio show for 5 hours a day, 5 times a week, and you're like, What's gonna fill 4:30 today?
What did Mitch Marner learn from the Kawhi saga?
Yeah, why,
Back in a bit.
taking your calls.
We're gonna
for
open up the phone lines.
Man, when they open up the phone lines, I'm like, I am leaving. I don't want to hear. I stopped listening to sports talk calls when somebody said, remember I think I told you guys this. I was listening to The Fan, and they were talking about whether or not the Leafs were going to get the first overall pick, because that year they got the 4th overall pick, and it was going to be Connor McDavid. We got Marner, but it was going to be Connor McDavid, and the guy's like, they should trade Connor McDavid. And Roger Lajoie was like, what? And God bless Roger, because he's the nicest guy in the world. I would have just laid into this guy because it was so stupid. But he thought, for some reason, that we could somehow voodoo a Peter Forsberg, Eric Lindros trade out of somebody and somehow end up with a player just as good as Connor McDavid in return, which Peter Forsberg turned out to be. And and I was like, I think I'm done with the sports calls.
In the summer, we had a caller, like, in our first segment, and Scott MacArthur just turns to me and, like, he hasn't gone to bed, this person.
Scott seems like a great guy, by the way.
Scott is effing fantastic, yes.
Because you guys were on the morning show, you assume it was still his night.
Yeah. No, and it's like 6:30 in the morning, and this guy's gunned and just on the radio.
So if I got a radio show and I go, hey, line one, we got Adam on line one. We're going to him. We're talking right now about if we think there are 3 players on the Leafs who deserve to make over $10 million. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, guys. First time, long time. I mean, I know Tavares or whatever. Yeah, he's pretty good. I guess he's good.
Adam, the mic is way too close to your face.
Yeah,
it needs to be about several kilometers.
Yeah,
away
I'm
from
trying to
your face.
mimic the guys holding the way he's holding his phone too.
Well.
Like, listen, Matthews seems like kind of a jerk, but yeah, he scores a lot of goals, eh? And
He's not like Dougie.
It's just a shame. It's a shame that Marner makes less. That's what it would get into. It's like it's this. First up, Matthews will never, for some reason, until he hoists the cup, there will always be people in the city who are like, Marner's better because he was born here.
Yeah.
Which is beyond the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Guaranteed there are Leaf fans who would have liked Gilmore a lot more if he didn't score so many darn points.
What?
Every time he scored, he could have been laying a hit.
Yeah, true.
Getting in a fight.
There were people back then that called Gilmore soft.
What?
Because he wasn't Wendell Clark.
And like in today's NHL, he would be nothing short of an axe murderer.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Just like the Doug Gilmore hits compilation on YouTube, he leaves his feet every time.
Is it? It's aggressive.
They all do.
They all do. Yeah. Everybody. Like if you watch the Wendell Clark thing, it's like illegal. That might be a charge. Illegal. Wow, he really knocked that guy out.
And with the pads that they used, everyone it was just high flying bones.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You were all just bags of bones flying into each other.
My crown's gonna be a little bit different, and it might not be the most popular crown, but I'm gonna give it anyway. It's a dual crown. Not a Trey Kroner, a Duke Kroner.
Oh, what?
A two Kroner.
Yep. Well,
my crown goes to Brendan Shanahan and Kyle Dubas.
Wow.
And I give it to them.
Is that allowed?
Okay, I'm gonna give it to one of them.
Is that allowed?
Is it allowed?
Just
I don't know.
kidding.
Is it a hat trick, Jesse?
It's not.
It's not a hat trick.
It's 4.
goals.
Somebody made the best argument that I completely forgot to make. When you get an A+ in school, did you also get a B, a C, a D, and an F? No. You got an A because you surpassed the other levels. When you score 4 goals, you get 4 goals.
But you earned a B. You did earn a B. And,
but
and
you
a
passed
C.
it. You don't say, hey, I got a D because I got an A+. I got 90%, but I also got 50.
So can we call a 4 goals a Matthews? We just branded a Matthews?
Hey.
You got a Matthews.
Call it a donut. Call it whatever you want, but don't call it a hat trick. Because a hat trick is 3.
It's a top hat trick.
Cool, that's cool.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a hat trick.
Or a dick trick.
Cool.
Don't like that one as much.
Yeah.
Let's not do that one.
Yeah.
They had that for
That's a one
the
dick.
Joe Thornton, Thomas Hurdle thing.
Oh, that was funny.
That was fun.
That was funny.
In retrospect.
I'm going to give it to Kyle Dubas and Brendan Shanahan for having the guts, the cojones, whatever you want to call it, to say we're not going anywhere this season with this head coach and firing the head coach. And that had to be especially tough for Brendan Shanahan, who, went out of his way to hire Mike Babcock. I mean, I would love for there to be a book written on this era of the Leafs, starting from when Brendan Shanahan took over, because There are so many conversations that I wish I was privy to. I would love to know. Mike Babcock was as good as a Sabre coach as they could come. And I would love to know how Brendan Shanahan said, "Will let us do this for you." Because the Pagulas were willing to pay whatever. And Tim Murray was like going at Babcock hard, and they were that close. So what was it that Shanahan did? And then they brought him in, and they had the big background, and they gave him a jersey and all those things. And 3.5 years later, into an 8-year deal, he's gone.
That's a tough one to sell the board on.
Sure is.
It was tough to sell him, to bring him in. I got to imagine it was harder to get rid of him. Also, Brendan Shanahan has a career in politics ahead of him because he talked about the Johan Franzen story that came out.
Yeah.
And
So, we talked about it.
Yeah, but like barely anyone discussed it because it was just so right down the middle, boring. Like, yeah, well, you know.
He didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Is what he said.
Wish he hadn't done that. Like
Obviously, it's regrettable.
Yeah. Like, clearly a guy who learned a thing or two from Lou Lamoriello.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually,
I wish Dubas had learned anything from Lou Lamoriello. He'd bring back Wendell Clark.
That's why Chelios doesn't like him. Chelios said he doesn't like Shanahan because Shanahan is too political or too good politically or something like that. I remember that there was some sort of interview. And you know what? I think that just makes Brendan Shanahan a pragmatic leader, which is what you need when you're dealing with Rodgers, Bell, and the Tannenbaum family owning this team and trying to fire a head coach who's just been paid $40 million of his $50 million.
Yeah, I liked Chelios' appearance on Spit and Chicklets as well, but a lot of people rightfully pointed out, like, okay, fair enough and everything, but this is Chris Chelios.
I don't know what Chris Chelios has done that would make people say about this is Chris Chelios.
Well,
other than the name of his book, which is like Chris Chelios Stars and Stripes or something like that. Which is,
Chris Chelios, America.
Yeah, honestly, it is. It's
basically inferring that people attack Gary Bettman, like in the wake of the first lockout, and he was part of the Team USA crew that trashed their hotel room.
No, it's
called?
even better than I said. Chris Chelios, Made in America.
Oh, it's literally that.
That's the name of the book.
It's called Made in America.
That's a bad name.
Forward by David Goggins. Oh my god.
This is a not at soft motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
The guy in Napoleon Dynamite who was wearing the America pants in the karate studio.
I don't remember that movie very well.
He's teaching him how to... never mind. No. Somebody listening knows what I'm talking about.
Great piece of cinema.
Napoleon Dynamite?
Is trash.
Oh, God, that's a bad
All right,
take.
now, hold on. That take is hot.
Oh.
We need to leave that take. The take needs to be left.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time.
I need to know what it took for Shanahan to get Babcock here. I want to know what it took for Dubas and Shanahan to say, okay, enough. Because, Steve kept saying, are we done here? Are we done here? Are we done here? It is, I can't tell you how hard it is to, unless you're in corporate management or you've had some sort of window into it, and I have in radio, so very small level, right? I got to tell you, it's really, really tricky stuff. And it's very political.
Well, you guys looked at it so interestingly, like on the show where he got fired, but we didn't know. And just the way you guys were saying it is like, Steve, it's not that easy.
What, do we have to talk you off a ledge?
Yeah, but I kept childishly going, but they're bad with him.
And you were right.
I know. But so were you. In retrospect, after I listened back.
They said they were different, is my favorite quote. You said you were different, Kyle. I trust it. It's the meme where the woman screaming at the cat.
The cat.
No, I'm the wrestling guy. It's still real to me, damn it. That's 100% me. I thought James Reimer would be our goalie forever. I did.
No, I think what it is it took a lot of guts to do that because of all the things that go on behind the scenes. And nothing in Toronto is regular. Firing a coach isn't regular. Hiring a coach isn't regular. They had the guts to do it, and the team is 8-4 since. And that is exactly what you want. This team, if they had gone on just playing the same way they had, we would be at this point saying they're going to miss the playoffs. They're 100,000% going to miss, and they would have. And so good on them for making the change, finding what seems to be, at least thus far, the right guy. Not an easy decision. Dubas and Shanny, get my crown. Jesse.
I'm curious to know.
Who will it be?
Well,
who will it be?
I'm looking here, and I have in front of me 241,000 reasons why this player deserves the crown. I Googled William Nylander trade. And that's how many results came up in Google.
How many?
241,000.
And he's never been traded.
God bless William Nylander for playing this season after being traded 800,000 times.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I want to know how many times he's on Cap Friendly.
What do you mean?
Like, just trades, armchair GM.
People just sitting at home doing the trade tracker?
I wonder if Cap Friendly has, and Cap Friendly, if you're listening, I know sometimes they do. I wonder if they have metrics on the player who's traded most on their site.
I don't know if it's publicly available. You know what?
It's not publicly available.
Not like at all, but
I'll send him a text.
ask him.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to know, because I think at that top of the list will be William Nylander.
And by the way, I think somebody thought that Cap Friendly was one person.
It is. I don't know how many people it is. It's at least 3.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I got a sneak peek at the new feature they just released, the trade calculator.
Oh.
It's so good.
I heard Cap Friendly was just a puppy, and just a puppy
Just a
smashing
guy.
keys. It's just a puppy going.
It was the blurst of times. You stupid puppy. I said salary retention.
So, Jesse, why do you give it to Nylander?
It's just, I gotta commend a guy who can sit in the largest media market in hockey and constantly be traded by the media.
The media.
And throughout it all, keep his mouth shut, never address it, keep his head down, and just play the game well. He's having a great season, on pace for his best season in his entire NHL career after last season's very disappointing effort after that debacle. And thank you, Nylander, for bouncing back, having such a great season, making me look great.
There you go.
There's
There
your
you
crown.
go.
There's
That's
your
why
crown.
this is the crown for this season so far and not all of 2019.
Yeah, shut up. This crown started in September.
Yeah, well, no, yep.
Oh, well, that's who wore the crown for this episode and this 2019. Brought to you, as always, by our friends at Crown Royal. Next time the puck drops, why not?
Why not?
Live generously and treat your Leafs crew to a Crown Royal Old Fashioned.
You know, that started just because I thought it was funny that you always said, why not?
Really?
Yeah. Just the way you suggest it.
Why not?
Why not?
Like, why haven't you?
Why
What's
not?
wrong with you?
It's crazy.
You're moving pretty slow there. Better get to the crown.
Mrs. Dangle told me that yesterday. She's like, because I wanted to watch that Don't Fuck with Cats documentary.
The one about
Luka
somebody who went to
Magnotta?
your junior high?
Yes, yes, we'll get into that. But
Are we going to get it? Stop saying we're going
gonna get into that.
about everything. We're not getting into that.
we are getting into
Who
it.
said that?
You don't know. This is actually the Don't Fuck with Cats podcast, and we're going to be talking about that for the next 45
We'll
minutes.
get into that.
Anyway, she told me to have a drink, and then I did. That's all I was going to say there.
Do you want to
Just
get into that?
No, well, okay, there's... I asked Adam a question yesterday, and he never returned my text.
What was the
I'm pretty
text?
Sure.
What was the
So,
text?
okay, Luka Magnotta.
The serial killer.
Insane serial killer from that movie, Don't Fuck with Cats. Didn't he go to Centennial?
I'm looking at his Wikipedia.
And he's
It
not
doesn't
he's not a
say.
serial killer from the movie. They made the movie about the serial killer.
Did I say the movie?
He said the serial killer from the movie.
Oh, my bad. The serial killer
It's a documentary.
from the documentary that is real. Yes.
Now, it doesn't say on the Wikipedia page, so I don't know.
Because his real name is Eric Clinton Newman.
Yeah.
And he's older than us, right? So you wouldn't have gone to middle school with him. But he did go to that school.
So
Because you went to Centennial, right?
Centennial Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say here, but I bet Centennial Road was like, we're going to just go delete that from the Wikipedia page.
wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
I'd have to watch it. But did you see the Etobicoke thing?
Oh,
Etobicoke.
God.
So there's a
Etobicoke.
place in Toronto called Etobicoke, and the guy who's one of the main guys in the Luka Magnotta film
And best people because he's helping solve this crime. And I'm
can't
like,
pronounce
you piece of garbage.
Etobicoke. He goes, Etobicoke.
Edibga. You didn't
Didn't
even try.
Nobody
No.
even
No one fact-checked
corrected him.
him.
Like, there was
No.
probably 6 or 7 guys in the room. Like, hey, maybe somebody want to look up how to spell that, pronounce that.
Etobicoke.
Anyway,
What are you doing?
yeah, no, I've heard that's a fascinating but kind of scary documentary.
Saw the first
can
one. It's
imagine.
messed up. Yeah, it's messed up, but it's fascinating because it's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Or sort of. There's a Canadian connection.
Well,
Yeah.
he's the second major serial killer to come out of Scarborough. We also had the
And he idolized the first one.
Bernardo.
Yeah.
Really?
Paul Bernard,
I was watching it and going, oh, he sounds an awful lot like Paul Bernardo, and he like idolized him.
Do you want to hear
Wow.
very weird story?
Sure. I got one too.
So Bernardo was known as originally the Scarborough rapist, and they didn't know who he was. And obviously he was committing an obvious crime.
Yes.
And this is before because it happens in stages, right? So this is before he was killing people. And so my dad and mom didn't have a lot of money. They were just starting out. They had me, and they wanted to buy a house. And they happened to buy a house on a street called Bathgate. And I think it was 6 months after, one of the neighbors said, "Hey," and they were sort of surprised that it was a big house and that it was sort of cheap. And
yeah, those are big houses.
And one of the neighbors, when they moved in, said, "Hey, you're aware, right?" And they're like, "Aware of what?" And apparently he had committed several of the crimes on the street.
On Bathgate?
And that is why the house was cheap. That's or nearby. It was like down the street.
No way.
Yeah, so it brought down property values in the area. It was such a shock. Like, it was everybody was like watching it, right? And that gave Scarborough some of its worst it was a nice little pocket of Scarborough, but Scarborough has this terrible reputation in Toronto.
Here's how close that house was to mine. I once drove to your house with a geography textbook on my roof the whole time, and it was there when I got out.
There you go,
Yes.
right? So yeah,
Wow.
that's part of that's why my parents were able to afford this house.
My dad. So
They didn't know.
The description of the guy was, roughly 6 feet tall, blonde, and there was like this shitty sketch that was up around the neighborhood, and my dad fucking hated it because he was around the same height.
Oh,
Blonde.
Jesus.
And he said he would get funny looks and like he would back away from the poster.
I think I watched a special on 60 Minutes once about police sketches. I think it was 60 Minutes. I might be wrong. And they basically talk about how in times of extreme stress, your chances of actually recognizing what the person looked like and remembering it properly are pretty slim. And so a lot of these composite sketches have been used, and especially in the States, going after people of color and that sort of thing, they will have these they'll have these composite sketches and they'll get the wrong guy. And it's all
completely
based on a sketch.
It might have been 48 hours.
Maybe it was that one. Yeah.
Because when I Google
Are
that,
you-
some stuff comes up. But yeah.
Are you the best at trivia night?
No, I'm terrible.
Why?
Details, I'm
you
bad
know
at.
so much random shit.
I don't know. I just love that stuff. I find it so interesting how I find, I don't know. I don't know. What I find interesting, I find interesting. What I don't, I can't commit to memory at all. Like,
Same.
you know what I mean? No, there's some people that can the people that are good at school that can take any piece of information and go,
Whether
that's
it's
it.
boring or not,
Yeah.
they can
Annoying.
just insert into their brain.
Just
yeah.
photographic, right? And they just regurgitate. I can't do that. So anyway, I found that fascinating. And anyway, I don't know how we got into this, but
So you've seen you said you watched episode 1 of the
Yes.
documentary?
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
It's different. It's different from anything I've ever seen before.
because this guy was really messed up, right?
Oh my dear God! Yeah, this is on Netflix,
Okay,
so I thought I'd
to check it out.
promote it.
Shout out X. You
No,
know,
I
Netflix
just-
needs the promotion.
No, I just saw it because it's the #1 thing they were promoting, and I'm like, and then they showed a news clip that was very clearly CTV Toronto.
Oh,
And
fun.
Oh,
I went,
yeah.
what? And so I obviously kept watching. I'm like, oh shit, this is the. And I've always sort of wondered what the hell happened.
I find it really interesting that in Canada, when you have crimes committed, and this is very different from the States. Like in the States, you had like remember Nancy Grace forever,
Oh,
and
my
she would
God.
she would take entire years of her show and focus on one case. So I think one of the ones she had was the she called her the Tot Mom, but it was
Casey Anthony.
Casey Anthony. She called her the Tot Mom all the time. The Tot and the Tot
Yeah.
Mom. Yeah, well, the Tot, but she wouldn't call her Casey Anthony, just Tot Mom. And so they have shows in the States because they're so much bigger dedicated to that sort of thing, right? And you can get away with that and make money off that. That's the only reason they do it. In Canada, when you have tragedies or massive crimes, the people that commit them are on, except for Paul Bernardo, are on the news for a split second and then they're gone. And it's almost like everybody agrees to be like, let's not focus on that person. And like, think about something like this, and this is going to be a little bit. How much do you hear about Paul Bernardo now?
Very little.
Very little, right? In the States, how many Unabomber
or what's his name?
Ted Bundy,
Charlie
Manson
Manson.
documentaries. They're out every year.
Charlie Manson.
You know what I mean?
I called him the South Park character Charles Manson.
Charles Manson. Same thing. It's crazy. There's a whole different focus. It seems a bit weird.
Reminds me of a joke from an American comedian. I heard it just for laughs. You know what I love about Canada? You guys report all your murders.
That's actually true.
I was like, huh, okay, dark.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
even
true.
like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that came out this year. That's about Charles Manson.
Yes.
Adjacent. You know?
Another perspective on that.
Right.
Like
he's in like Mindhunter. Mindhunter is just a show about serial killers in America.
By the way,
what's
Mindhunter season 2 was sort of a letdown. They had like 3 interviews. It was like, okay. The whole premise of the show is they interview serial killers. So they did an entire season of the show. Charles Manson didn't kill anyone. He ordered people to kill people, but he never killed anyone.
Oh, did he?
No, it was his followers that did. So they interview him, and then they interview some other guy.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen season 2. I've only seen season 1.
It's such a... You're like, oh,
I saw
come on.
the Zac Efron one. Who's he? Ted Bundy?
Oh, Ted Bundy. There you go. Another one.
Yeah, they did a
That was
whole
good
movie
show.
featuring Zac Efron
Yeah,
and
that was a
Ted
good
Bundy.
movie.
And I read the criticism of it before I'm watching, and I'm just like, did no one watch it all the way through before making that?
So what was
Well, that they made him into like a dreamboat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what he was back then.
Yes, the whole point was to illustrate. Yes, here's how this guy portrayed himself, and in the end, as you very clearly find out by the end of the documentary, he is a psychopath.
A monster.
Yeah.
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 I thought it was very good.
It
I haven't
was
seen
Zac
that.
Efron
I saw the
one? Yeah.
documentary with his tapes on it.
Yeah.
And what was so interesting was the judge being like, "Sorry, I have to convict you of murder, but you seem like a great guy."
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The judge was always like, he seems like a chill dude.
yeah. Hey, listen, if you hadn't committed all this murder, it seems like you would have been really
We
great.
could have played golf, you know?
Can we get a couple beers before he goes to
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's against the
Yeah,
law.
we're bros.
No
We're
time?
bros.
Ah.
Listen, man.
Zach or Ted
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. Jail for life, but we're still bros.
Yeah.
Like, it was so messed up.
Don't
man.
delete me off Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm a
Oh,
guy.
see, if you ever get out, just like hit me up, you know?
So it is a good movie. It's worth watching.
Yes.
Okay, should check that out.
If you like that shit.
You got,
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks. You got plenty of time.
Got lots of time. I'm so
Down
excited.
in Florida.
Jake Gardiner turned down the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, I figured we should
the
talk a
best
little hockey.
transition in the history of the show.
Whatever, just go for it.
Jake Gardiner.
Turned down the Montreal Canadiens. $5 million a
Did he?
year he was offered on July 3rd. Apparently, almost as long as his contract with the Hurricanes. So he turned down something like $4 million because he signed for $4 million a year with Carolina. That works out to 16. He would have had 20 with Montreal, but he didn't want to do it because he was exhausted. Because newsflash, Leaf fans are exhausting, and he didn't want to play in another major hockey
Yeah.
market.
Well, every time he made a giveaway, it wrote off his Instagram for 6 months. Like, yeah, do you blame him? Who could possibly blame him? The fact that he even entertained the idea of staying here is a miracle.
The fact that he still has positive things to say about being here is a miracle. That's a miracle. I wonder what he says in private. His dad even
Yeah.
told James Myrtle, and this is what this whole article's from, told James Myrtle, like that was, when he got booed at home, it was like the lowest point of his life.
Yeah, which, I mean, some of you will say, well, pretty good life. That's true, but he didn't have to have that happen to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved that the team looked like complete shit without him. Complete shit.
Yep.
And it just still never sunk in.
What's your thoughts on fans in stadiums booing? Do you have the
in
right?
general?
Do you have the right to boo
Hell
your own
yes.
team? Do you have the right to boo the other team?
You have the right to do whatever the hell you want.
Except for
But-
threatening other people
Yes.
and racism.
Right. But,
Yes.
okay, and a list of about half a dozen other things.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
For the most part, like booing's fine. But, like, people are allowed to turn around and chirp you for being an idiot.
So it's fair that people chirp Jay Gardiner if he makes a
Not
mistake
fair.
in Game 6.
It's not fair, just allowed.
I think the reasons why they
know?
chirped Jake Gardiner weren't necessarily fair all the time. Did Jake Gardiner have a big case of the holy shits when he had the puck and gave it away on a spectacular level? Absolutely.
I can't
Fans were
even-
not wrong about that.
I can't even get too mad at him for how he played this past Game 7, which was his third as a Leaf.
He shouldn't have been playing.
He shouldn't have been playing.
He didn't have a back.
He didn't have a back.
And had
straight up shouldn't have been
put in the
playing.
article. No, he was down to 30% of his strength in his right leg. Like he couldn't even push.
Yeah, I believe that.
Like
Jesus.
yeah, I mean you fucked up your back before you came in today.
Yeah.
How's
And
walking?
I was about to say I'd like to stand because sitting is agony.
Yeah, you do whatever you
I'd
want.
like
man.
to stand
It's your
until
show, man.
standing is agony.
They're saying that's what's plaguing PK Subban right now.
Oh, he's got a bad back.
Friedman and Merrick dissected a little bit on the latest 31 Thoughts podcast.
Lift it up.
Yeah, just lift up the
Yeah,
mic.
there you go.
There we go.
They dissected it a little bit, and they're saying that somebody is going to have to convince him to skate a different way because his back isn't the same. And
Whoa.
they can. Somebody sent Friedman a clip and being like, "Hey, he's noticeably not skating the same way because his back isn't good.
He's got to work out differently.
So they're saying a lot of it. They're just speculating, but it might have to do with how much he loves powerlifting.
Oh,
Because that's
yeah,
one of his big training regimens, and that's what he does all the time.
Got to stop.
So
He
they're
has
saying
to.
It's not good for
he
you.
cuts that out, and then now he just like his skating can't be the same.
Right.
So if that, but that's why he struggled so mightily this
That's
season.
what fucked up Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Is he had like that military.
He's
like
training like an MMA fighter for golf.
No, a
Yeah.
Navy SEAL.
Navy SEAL.
Navy-
man.
that's ridiculous.
He went to the Navy SEALs and he trained with them.
He was already the most jacked golfer by miles and miles.
In the history of golf.
He's playing against like who's buddy who always wears the Captain America pants?
John Daly?
John Daly. He's playing against John
He's got a
Daly.
fucking cigarette and a beer.
Who's drunk.
Yeah, having a burger in the fucking cart.
Yeah, with lime green shoes. And Tiger Woods is like, I need to train like I'm gonna invade a country.
Yes.
That book
that-
on Tiger Woods is fascinating if you've ever read it.
I haven't.
No,
I
I
should read that.
It's a good, get the audiobook.
The thing about it is that it can be tough because these guys get to a certain point because you can do that in your early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
You can do, especially if you're an athlete, like CrossFit is not healthy to a person that's never worked out before. But if you have the form right, yeah, it'll work great for you if you have the form right.
Yeah.
And like 1% of the population has perfect form. And some of those people are athletes. Athletes can do CrossFit, but there's a reason why a lot of people get injured doing it. And they're like, hey, you never done a deadlift before? Great, you're gonna do max 100 times today.
And you're going
and-
to deadlift this tire.
Right. But if you say that to PK Subban, you're like, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because he can do that, and he's got the mobility, he's got the posture, he's got the core strength, he's got the ability to do that sort of
He
thing.
obviously doesn't.
But he doesn't
No,
anymore.
well,
That-
anymore.
And
like
that's-
it sounds like it's an age thing, right?
Well, that's the problem. Though,
or just a
is, like,
doing it too much thing.
This is. Remember a while back, I said something along the lines of, I was I was a fly on the wall for Brian Burke talking behind the scenes, and he had all these really, really insightful things to say. I was like, oh my goodness, what's he about to go on air and say? And I'm watching the TV from the room that he had just left, and he's like, I think they should trade Nylander, and I'm like, what? I just couldn't believe it based on all the things he was saying. But one of the things he was talking about, and it wasn't about Subban, it was about someone else. This was last year. Once you hit a certain age, it's all got to be like calisthenics and body weight stuff.
Stretching.
And listen to me talking about this as I can't even
yoga,
sit down in a chair
like it's
now.
about mobility, especially like even in your own life. If you can do yoga once a week and just stretch, and this is somebody coming from somebody who needs to do it, has almost zero mobility. The thing that holds old people up is the fact that they can't move anymore. And once you lose your mobility, your health is gone.
The greatest predictor of any cause mortality is leg strength.
Really?
Because once that goes in your old age, amongst the elderly, because once that goes in your old age, you're just not you're immobile. So they say that most after that, your all-cause mortality rate skyrockets.
Wow, it's a good
After
thing
you
I
lose your leg
fucking
strength.
leg day all the time, bro.
So don't lose your mobility,
Yeah,
people.
it's not
Okay.
about, but like, so for PK,
I'll get her going then.
This is a
that
dark
might have worked
episode.
when he was winning the Norris Trophy in Montreal.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to change his workout regimen. He's going to have to change the way he skates. He's going to have to change the way he rehab because you just cannot do that forever. You just can't. And it's hard for athletes because they've been able to do whatever they physically want to their entire lives.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they can't.
And like, how do you even change your style of play?
Oh,
How do you inform your brain that I can't do that thing I did last year?
One example they used was John Tavares. They say he made the adjustment because he was going down that road where his back was giving him issues, and he relearned how to skate.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Barb Underhill, Leafs. Barb Underhill would be an awfully good teacher, I would think.
Oh,
Dude, we gotta give her
Unbelievable.
so much credit. Because what do we say about every freaking Marley who comes up?
They're skating.
yeah.
Holy shit. Pierre Engvall couldn't skate this fast. Trevor Moore couldn't skate this fast. And they were just talking about another guy, Adam Brooks. When he started with the Leafs, he wasn't a great skater. Now he's freaking dynamite. Development.
Yeah. Well,
Right? You draft potential.
What are the 2 teams she works for?
The Leafs for sure.
And?
I want to say Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Good skaters.
Oh, wow.
She
Or
doesn't
I
wanna-
know she has a lot of Tampa clients.
She doesn't want to
Okay.
work for just one team because she can make more. And if you're the Leafs, you'd be like,
Right.
oh, we'll pay you whatever you want.
Yeah. I
Just
think
keep
she's
working with our guys.
mostly Toronto-based now.
Yeah.
Or no, she's always Toronto-based. It's just her clients come and see her.
Yeah.
I saw her working with a couple Lightning prospects a few years ago. I was there for a different shoot. I don't remember who they were, but like she made it look like they were me. Like they had never been on skates before. She was showing them how to go backwards and do these. It's hilarious.
That's cool.
You know what'd
Her
be
in
cool?
hockey
That's such a
skates
secret
and
weapon to have.
And just destroying these guys.
It would be kind of fun. I don't know if we
That's
could ever
another
do
thing. She didn't win medals in hockey skates,
Oh.
right? So she taught herself, and she's still better. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
It would be cool one day if we could, and I don't think I mean, who's
don't
gonna
think
have
she'd
time?
do it.
But it'd be so
Yeah.
great to have her teach us how to skate and do a video about it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, like, let me rehab
Just
a
like
couple
one
months.
day.
yeah.
But like an hour on the ice with her would be awesome.
With PK, one of the most interesting case studies I've ever heard of in sports is a guy named Andy Pettit. Andy Pettit was a pitcher for the Yankees and the Astros, and probably some other teams in between. But Andy Pettit pitched for 26 years. And he was
That's so
not,
dumb.
he didn't just pitch for 26 years, he was like an ace for 26 years. I think, hold on, I'm going to look at Baseball DB, which, by the way, Baseball DB is hilarious because, or Baseball Reference, because it'll show you a bunch of stats you've never heard of before you get to like wins and losses.
Yeah.
He went from 1995 to 2013. So I'm wrong.
Well, wins and
However-
losses for a pitcher tells you nothing.
Dick Hall.
Yes.
However, he was, yeah, that's right. He was playing, he did New York and then a couple years in Houston and then New York again. And right up until, and he was 46 years old when he retired or something like that. No, 40 years old or something. It was ridiculous. Anyway, what he did, doesn't matter what his age was or what his stats were, what he was able to do, he comes into the league and he's a fireball pitcher. Guy has like a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got a cut fastball that's ridiculously fast or whatever he's got.
But there's a shelf life.
There's a shelf life. And that's about 5 seasons. You look at what's happening to Steven Strasburg, he's been able to switch, but he came in with like this fucking cannon. Andy Pettit went from that to this cerebral assassin guy who was able to get you, he would nibble on the corners of the plate. He'd give you like he'd give you like something like a slow fastball and then a change up, and then a curve. And like he was really good at pitching slow, which sort of goes against what you think pitching should be.
His main pitch was a cutter that would be, I think it was like 84 miles an hour.
And it was devastating.
85, but it just nobody could hit it because he was just so good at finesse. You know, he
Learning
just
more
mix
about
up
baseball
speeds.
has been great.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a great sport.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you like numbers.
Like, how do you become better by slowing down?
Yeah.
And that's
There's not a
that's
lot of
what's so
sports
great
where
about
you
it.
can say
You
that.
speed up and then you slow down, and then
Yeah.
you speed up and you slow down.
You know what changed Austin Matthews' career is he shoots at half the speed. Nope.
Oh, that's a change-up shot.
Ah, yes. Which I'm sure he'll develop.
A cut
and we'll
slap
talk
shot.
about why it should be illegal.
Well, everything should be illegal. No, I think that Andy Pettit's a great example, and I believe he changed up his workout regimen too to pitch differently. And so with PK, I would imagine that his results this year, he's such a driven guy that I think he's going to take he's probably already got a plan in
smart.
place. Oh, he's not
Yeah.
stupid. No, he's a pretty smart
Right?
guy.
So if the evidence is in front of him, I trust him to identify it.
And I think he'll take it personally. Like, he'll look at the numbers and he'll look at his peers and be upset at it, I hope, and change his ways and get back to the level he's at.
If you're a team like the Leafs, like Tyler Ennis showed up early a year and a half ago to rehab his back over the course of the summer. The Leafs have an incredible medical staff, which they used to have a terrible medical staff. If you have Barb Underhill and the Leafs medical staff, like if you're the Leafs, do you not feel like with PK, it's like, hey, if we can get him for half,
You gotta.
do you not try?
You gotta. It takes two to tango, man. Tyler Ennis was if I can
He's a
bust
free
this
agent.
out, a student of the game. You know, like if I can bust that out, he was on board with it. But if the Leafs go, here's what you got to do, and he's on Instagram fucking throwing 6 plates on there,
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
If he's like, watch how much I can squat.
Yeah. No, you got to be on there like Connor Carrick with that weird rubber band that goes across your ribs. I don't even know what it does, and friggin' doing all his calisthenics. Although that guy is slowly becoming Super Dave as well.
He's freaking huge.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's freaking huge, but like he almost he got his face busted open by a puck.
Yeah.
He almost got his finger like slashed off. Like it's
a fun sport.
Injuries, yeah, it's great. Hockey, super cool. Even the refs are in danger. You see Ovechkin drill a guy the other day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine getting hit by Ovechkin and not expecting it.
By the way, since I called out Carey Price for not being good this year, he's been like 5-1-1.
Yeah. It's stupid.
Asshole.
But that's how it always happens.
Has to
It's
be.
just back problems seems very prevalent in the NHL. I guess it's just the nature of the game. You know,
Well,
half of it's using
Makes
your back.
sense.
and when you play
Trust
hockey,
me.
like one of the issues I have from playing hockey growing up is you have overdeveloped calves and legs. My ass
Big
is
old butt.
thick.
Damn,
and
boy.
it's funny because my mom and dad do not have round butts. I have a round butt. And it's a hockey butt.
Adam's
and,
not lying.
And
not.
like I don't like my I look at my mom and dad. I'm like, whose ass is mine? Where did they come from? And
Well,
what
sometimes you say things and they sound a certain way in your head. but
what happened? I check out my mom's ass. is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's what you said.
Well, you look at your body. You're like, I do not look anything like that or like that.
Keep digging. It's good. It's not
anyway.
deep enough.
It took me a while to realize how weird that sounded.
just keep digging at them.
No,
and make
no.
sure you use your legs and your ass.
You'll hit the ocean if you go deep enough. Just keep going.
No, but I think the point I'm trying to make here is that what happened is that my hips they go really good this way, but my side to side sucks because I spent my whole childhood pushing backwards and skating forwards, right? And skating backwards. So when it comes to any sort of mobility, I'm terrible. It's all tight.
You change to the shape of the sport you play.
Yeah.
You know what I always notice? Hockey players, they love their sandals. You ever actually look at the foot?
Is
Yeah.
it
It's
Oh my
mangled.
God, they're all a world of hurt. Basketball players too. Shaq's foot.
Yeah.
That one is.
I haven't seen Shaq's foot.
Oh, don't look at
I'm
Shaq.
gonna look it.
Google it.
Now I gotta know.
But yeah, hockey
It's not
players,
good.
they tend to have little mangled little feet.
I imagine soccer
Whoa!
is pretty bad.
Why is his toes that way? What happened to his toe?
I don't know. Shaq things. Like, he played basketball and walked on a 350-pound body his whole life.
Yo, LeBron's feet are weird too. The toes are always in.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about LeBron's foot.
I don't even want to put it up
There's
on
a
the
meme.
screen, people. You can Google that
There's
yourself.
a meme that's just Shaq's foot disagrees, and it's his gross foot.
Going the other way. There's something non-human about playing a sport that competitively every single day from age 9 to 35.
Man,
It's crazy.
I've had the good fortune of I got to interview Johnny Bauer before he passed, and I got to talk to Bobby Baun, who is extremely old too, and they're both of them extremely witty. Their minds are entirely there, but you just see the horrors that being an athlete inflicted on their bodies. Bobby Baun played 2 games with a broken leg at the highest possible level. Johnny Bauer, like he had these enormous paws and just like couldn't bend them. I got to ask him 2 questions. He told me, he's like, I can only do 2 because I had dental surgery. I think it was like the day before, a couple days ago. Gives me his first answer, and at the very end of it, whoop, spits out his teeth, and he caught him. Because they were falling out, and he caught him, and then he jammed them back into his mouth and looks at me, and he goes, all right, what's next?
Wow. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that being an athlete's healthy for you. It's not.
No.
And
Bobby Baun's got this waddle back and forth because, I don't know, he was...
Being an athlete,
I don't know. He broke his leg and then scored a cup-winning goal.
Yeah.
being an athlete at a normal level is good.
Yes.
It's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
You're being healthy. But being an athlete at the 0.0001% of people on Earth
Yeah.
probably isn't the best idea. once you retire and have to just live a normal life, and your body's like, I don't know what this is.
Be Justin Bourne. Do it for like 5 years and then chill.
Yeah.
And just write and talk on the radio.
Did you guys see the Ronaldo clip this week where he's like diving through the air and he's probably 2 or 3 feet above the other defender.
He's flying.
And it's off his head and in the net. Did you see it?
No, but I believe
It's crazy.
Steve, it's the most insane clip. But the thing I looked at was not him heading the ball into the net. It's how he landed. And he lands on one knee. And this is a 35-year-old, right? This is not a young man.
It's crazy how
and
old he
he's
is.
so good, but he's like, he doesn't drink, he doesn't eat sugar. Like
He
he's
looks basically the same.
yeah, he's like insane, like Johnny, Tom Brady's insane.
No, right.
Like, you know,
no
they're just,
strawberries?
yeah, like no mushrooms, nothing that's a nightshade. I didn't even know what a nightshade was until Tom Brady told me.
It's an attack you can use with Gengar in Pokemon.
There you go, right?
And also Ghastly,
or it's when
I
you're
think.
talking shit about somebody at night. It's
And
nightshade.
Haunted. Yeah, oh.
You threw some nightshade.
But you have it up there, Jesse?
I'm just pulling it up for Steve.
You got to see this, Steve, before I can really. But I want you to watch in this clip how he lands. Because that is the most interesting part.
Jesse's looking for it right now. Okay, here's 35-year-old wearing those weird long-sleeve soccer uniforms. Okay, first of all, how did he get that high?
Look how-
Second of all, oh my
How does
God!
he do that? He lands, he's like a couple feet in the air, and then he just lands on his left leg, and it absorbs all of the power of his body, and he lands perfectly.
Ironically, you know what I was watching
insane.
today? Who's buddy on the Boston Celtics who broke his leg?
Hayward?
Gordon Hayward.
Gordon
yeah.
Hayward. That's what I was watching earlier today. How didn't that happen to Ronaldo?
Right.
He's jumping,
And
he's on an angle,
look at-
lands on his knee,
And look at how
has cleats.
high he is.
And
He
look
is-
at the leg muscles.
Yeah, he looks like two big
pretty
chicken
big,
wings.
yeah.
That's what he's walking on.
He's like an antelope.
It's coming up again.
Two big chickens.
That's what he looks like. It's crazy.
Oh my God. Let me see this. I don't even know how to.
Look, here it
He is landing diagonally. All his force is taking him to the side, but he lands with a flat foot on his instep. How did he play the rest of the game?
See what I mean? That's
He was
the part.
fine. He
No,
celebrated.
He was fine. And that's the thing. He's 34. He's born in February, so he'll be 35 soon. And he's still able to do that. And when you look at how high he's jumping, like I think it's a bit like you're like, oh yeah, of course he can jump. Okay, the defender's jumping, and Ronaldo's waist is at the defender's eye.
Look at that.
That's how high up he is. He's
Oh my
easily
God.
4 or 5 feet off the ground.
It's absurd.
It reminds me of an old listening to Joe Rogan talk about MMA. It's still fun. He's like, all men are created equal. Nope.
They're not.
They're don't try
Yeah,
to be
no.
Anderson Silva. Nothing you can do in your life. There's no training that will make you Anderson Silva.
That's why I love the Charlemagne book. Fuck your dreams.
Fuck yeah. you can be Cowboy Cerrone.
Maybe.
You can be Cowboy Cerrone. Maybe if you work your absolute hardest possible. But no. Anderson Silva is the best ever because he worked really hard and
he was naturally
kicks
gifted.
like a nightmare.
See, this is the difference. People always say, like, how come NHL teams can't get the first round picks right? There's a lot of first round picks. Remember we were talking about the 2004 draft last episode?
How bad it was.
Yeah, how many misses there were after Ovechkin and Malkin.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it is you touched on it there, and that's obviously a Rogan thing. They have the ability, but a lot of these players and a lot of athletes in general have been so good their whole lives they don't know how to work hard, quote unquote. Right? They don't know, and you'll hear this a lot in like NHL players being lazy, and you're like, what are you talking? How is that possible? Remember what they said about like Jake DeBrusk and the other guys in Boston when they first came to camp? Out of shape.
Out of shape. Yep. All three of those first round picks failed the physical. If I remember correct.
There's an extra gear. It's you are the 0.1% of people that can physically handle this, right? You're the Erik Karlsson who can somehow heal your what was his it was his Achilles
ankle.
heel
Achilles.
Yeah.
in 6 months when it takes the average person 18 months. You know what I mean? And somehow, some way, there are guys who get there and they have the talent. But then there's the guys that get there, they have the talent, and they have the mental stamina to push
Yeah.
themselves. And that is something
That's the other thing.
That's the next That's the screwy thing. That's the unbalanced thing. It's the thing like Sid Crosby. I wonder what it's like to talk to Sidney Crosby about not hockey.
I don't think it happens.
Like, how long could you have a conversation with him where it didn't go back to hockey?
I don't know. All the rumors I've ever heard about him is that's just what he does. He's like the stereotype of Kurt Angle. It's wrestling and drinking milk. And with Crosby, it's, I guess, making Dempster's bread sandwiches and playing hockey.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
That is what he does.
That's what he does. And man, you can work so very hard, but you could work your absolute hardest your entire life, and you probably won't be able to pull off what Sidney Crosby can.
And you could have
Maybe
started
not
playing.
the greatest message to give kids, but
No, you could have started playing hockey at 2, and there's still no chance.
there's no chance.
And that's not a bad thing. It just means you weren't meant for that.
There's late bloomers too.
Yeah.
Pavel Francouz, which is the fourth pronunciation of his name.
Yeah, because we said Francouz for like a week now.
And I said Francouz before that. Apparently it's Francouz. The
Francouz.
backup goalie in Colorado. He's 29, I'm pretty sure. And you go and look at his entire career, and you're like, why didn't we know he was good?
10-1, 930 something.
Something stupid like
crazy.
that. But you go and, he was good in the KHL. Yeah. Oh, he was good in the Czech League. And all of a sudden, he's been amazing for half a decade, and I'm wondering how long or why it took this long for him to get here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. Just a wild. Anyway, the human body is a fascinating.
Yeah, we went a lot
thing.
of places with
Yeah.
Jake Gardiner's
We did.
broken back.
Another, like, goalies today are just, they're shaped different. It's like, I made a goalie.
Yeah.
Like, the doctor hands the baby to the mom and goes, congratulations, it's a goalie. Like, because they're just...
Lottery.
You
Right.
can't train to have longer limbs.
Yeah, you can't train to be 6'4" either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And goalies today, they're just so good at angles. Like it's
those
just
are huge.
it's unfair that they can just be like, okay, this guy's at this position. If I just stand here and I do this, I don't have to really do anything. The puck is just mathematically going to hit me in this little window.
That's Carey
Isn't it-
Price.
It's genius.
That's Frederick Anderson,
That's-
too.
Yeah.
It's
Isn't
definitely Carey Price.
Isn't it sort of funny that it took the NHL this long to figure out just get some pretty big guys and angle it off?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that
Like Ben
5'9"
Bishop?
Darren Pang ever played in the NHL is just shocking.
Yeah.
Look at the size of
Greg
Johnny
Millen.
Bauer.
Greg Millen.
Greg Millen.
Yep.
Not I don't want to take anything away from those guys. I don't at all. But if you were scouting back then, all they wanted was these big bruising guys on forward and defense, but these pipsqueaks in net?
I feel bad for Jonathan Bernier, who was just drafted, 5-6 years too late.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thought he was going to be this elite goalie because look at the things he can do.
Yeah.
He's elite. Most goalies can't do the things he can do, but he's 5'11",
I guess
which
back
is just a thing of the
then,
past.
I guess it was more you got to find a guy who's athletic.
Right.
And can move and is quick, but they never thought, hey, what about just a guy who's big and can
But they're
block
drafting all these
everything?
knuckle draggers in the 80s and 90s. Be like, we got to protect our goalie. How about the goalie's just big?
Strap
One of
goalie
those
pads on
guys.
him.
Put him-
Yeah.
Speaking of quick, this guy's a freaking unicorn. But I went back and watched the triple save that Quick made. It was either against Nashville or Boston in overtime.
The one that just happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No one plays goalie like that. But he's so fun to watch. Like when he's on. Anyway, when he's on, like the 2012 Cup run was so fun to watch. And don't look now, but the Kings and Quick are actually playing much better.
Yeah, they won a bunch in a row, right? Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because a few weeks ago, there was some analytics discussion, and I saw a bunch of people go, well, the Kings analytics suck, and look at them. Or no, sorry, the Kings analytics are great, but look at them, they suck. And here they are, chugga, 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 chugga. They're coming back.
They're 4-4-2 in their last 10. Let's not chugga
It's
chugga.
better than a last place team.
Let's not
than last place.
Chugga, baby.
Let's not chugga that train too hard.
No, and I think they weren't using the right stat. I think a big reason for why their possession was good is they're always losing.
Right.
They're always playing from down.
Yeah, they're second last in the entire Western Conference.
Second. Woo! Who's last?
The Anaheim Ducks.
Ew, really?
But the Anaheim Ducks also have 2 games in hand on the Kings. 32 points for the Ducks, 34 for the Kings, the Blackhawks, and the Sharks.
The Rangers are the only team that did crappy last year that are actually competitive like I thought they would be. I thought the Rangers would be better. I thought the Devils would be better.
Man, me too.
I thought the Ducks would be better.
No, I didn't think that. I didn't
No.
believe in the Ducks.
I did.
Why did you believe
They
in
won't
the
be good for
why?
a little
John
while.
Gibson and who?
They have good prospects in Dallas Eakins, their coach now. So,
Oh, that's right. He's coaching the NHL.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, because he did a great job with their farm team.
Yeah.
It's the story of the Leafs all over again. Is he did well with the farm team. Let's call him up. Oh, whoops.
It's not his fault. I don't think
No, it's
he's
not.
been saddled with the crappy Oilers and now the crappy Ducks. They're
Yeah.
a poorly constructed team that has terrible salary cap implications.
There's something there. There's something there with them. I think they might be another one of those teams that once everyone's ready, they make a real run. But
Also low key on the Jake Gardiner thing, he hasn't had a great year.
no, he's
Yeah.
been absolutely terrible.
Remember how we said Remember we said last episode? It's like well, he's had 8 points in 35 games, which is odd for him. Which tells me the back might still be bugging him, although he says he's healthy.
Well, it tells me he's not able to do the things that he needs to be able to do.
Right.
There
And
were no stretches during Jake Gardiner's even struggles with the Leafs where he had 8 points in 35 games.
no, he always had more.
He's a half a point a game player.
And what's interesting is that you don't hear about it because they win, and their defense is really strong.
Yeah.
But it was really smart of him not to sign somewhere and put all that pressure on himself because imagine he signed again with the Leafs. Somehow they fit him under the cap. And he's playing like that.
Or even Montreal, like he said.
Oh, my God.
That's just as crazy a media market.
Well, and he would have had to have been a bigger part of the Montreal Canadiens,
Yeah.
which he's just...
Yeah.
He's not at that point in his career right now. I mean, who knows? If he says he feels good, maybe he'll be a rare example of getting better. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, for right now, he can't do anything.
Speaking of
Said
Montreal,
Steve, as he barely can stand.
Montreal won in overtime last night. You know what's shocking to me is the season Shea Weber's having. Never in my wildest. And good for him.
Have the Montreal Canadiens won that trade?
At this point, I don't see. I mean, for two of 3 years since it's happened, you would have given it to the Nashville Predators.
I stand by everything that I said at the time because it was right.
Yeah, and I
It
think
was right.
if you look at it in 3 years, when Montreal's still paying Shea Weber and PK Subban's paying, like, the contract doesn't exist anymore, I think you're going to still say that if for cap alone, Montreal's going to get burned on that cap no matter what.
Yeah.
They're toast on that cap. So right now it's looking really good. But again, the whole idea was it's not that Shea Weber was bad. Shea Weber's fantastic. It's his contract.
And the age, right? But maybe he's going the Zdeno Chara route.
Yeah, or
where
Giordano.
It's like 5 or 6 years after you thought they'd be toast, where they finally like Chara's still great. Like he has really exposable flaws now, which he never used to, but he's still great.
Yeah, he is.
So
he
Weber
plays to his strengths.
Weber might be great, like all the way till the end of that.
Chara
stupid
is the
thing.
Andy Pettit of the NHL. He's slowed down and gotten better.
I mean, yeah.
Is there a smarter defenseman in the game than Zdeno Chara?
Well,
hockey
he gets away
acumen.
with everything, so yes.
Hockey acumen. I don't think there's a smarter player.
Interesting. Like Lidstrom, but brutal.
Yeah, like Lidstrom had the finesse though. Chara's never been fully
Right.
that. Although he
No, but he was smart. Like
Yeah.
to only throw one body check for a whole cup run, like you need to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? And Chara's he's a different kind of smart. He's what I've always said about the Bruins, where he just knows how to get away with shit.
Yeah.
And he understands how big he is, and he understands his flaws, and he's got this underrated. People always focus on the power of his shot, but they don't realize that he's got a deadly wrister too.
Oh yeah, sneaky.
Game 3, 2018, he scored to make it 2-2. Bruins tied it up, and it was just like Freddie gave him this sliver of light to look at, and he just roofed it. He's ridiculous.
The World Juniors start here pretty soon. And one thing we never really cover on the show is the World Juniors. Because we're usually off, honestly, and we need a break. And maybe this isn't, maybe I'm not the typical hockey fan, but I just don't care anymore. And I don't know why. Can you tell me why?
Yeah, because I'm there too, and I'm a little World Juniored out.
Is it burnt out?
See, for me, it's complicated because I think this whole country caught the fever when they won 5 straight.
Yeah.
And they won it in such preposterous fashion. The Eberle 5.4 goal, the shootout to win it, a really It wasn't the most even gold medal final, but it was against Sweden, and there was so much heat there, and Jakob Markstrom was the goalie, and he dove the whole gold medal game, and Canada was this bunch of brutes, and Victor Hedman was on that team too. It was so good, so many stories, the first and second overall with Tavares and Hedman. Then the next year, it was another great story to me. Eberle had an even better clutch performance, 2 goals to tie it in the final 2 minutes. John Carlson wins it in overtime for the States. It was, whatever year it was, might have even been 2011, where Canada didn't even get a medal. And they finished like 8th or something. I want to say there's that picture of Boone Jenner crying because he was on that team. The interest started to die a little bit. And then when it came back in 2015...
And didn't sell out?
Yeah. It came back in 2015, and, I mean, McDavid, Duclair... Domi, Nick Petan had a hat trick. He was unreal at that tournament.
Yeah, in 2013 and 2014, Canada didn't medal.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So, yeah.
But it wasn't the same. Something wasn't the same. And maybe that's just us. Like, our time with the World Juniors is past. And, like, is it a young tournament?
I don't think so, because there's a lot of people that get really excited about it. I think.
Did we get more excited about it because the Leafs were complete garbage and it was just better to focus on the World Juniors?
Well, if that were the case, then I would be more interested this year because they haven't been great.
Well, maybe.
Maybe
but
they did great recently.
Could that be it? Like, finally a team you can actually cheer for? Was that it? Because I couldn't cheer for the 9-10 Leafs.
No.
Or the 08-09 Leafs, which I think is the team that ended up winning the 5th straight.
Because the hockey's fun, right? It's mistake-filled.
Fun.
It's crazy, but
it's still unpredictable.
There's something missing. I can't put my finger on it.
I
though.
still
I
like
don't
watching it.
Yeah, I'll
I
put it
always
on.
watch the gold medal game, no matter who's playing.
But
it's
there's
always good hockey.
Like, you don't follow it, though.
Right.
I used to dive into it.
Right, and like I used to know when they do the pre-camps in the summer and when the rosters are finally announced, and then now they're heading overseas and all that stuff. But we seem to don't follow it as closely anymore.
Do we know that it's overhyped then?
Maybe.
Is
Because,
it? Is it even overhyped? Because the hockey's always good.
It is, yeah, but I think it's about the future. And you want to say, oh, I watched this guy at the World Juniors, and Nick Petan, he's going to hat trick every game, and he's going to be friggin' sick. And he's in the NHL, but he's Nick Petan, right? And there were so many of these guys. You watch Nigel Dawes. He's going to be in the All-Star game every year. Yeah, KHL.
Justin Pogge.
Is that Justin Pogge? That was, such a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Who could have seen Tuukka Rask at those World Juniors and thought Pogge was the better one? That drove me insane.
I honestly don't think the Leafs watched. It's pretty clear from the trade they didn't watch.
Rask beat Sweden on his own. On his own. It was a Finland versus Sweden game, and I watched it not even knowing Rask was a Leaf prospect.
The reason it happened, though, that trade happened, though, was because John Ferguson Jr. knew he would be an assistant GM in Boston one day, and Tuukka Rask would be his goalie then, and now he is.
100%.
And now they have 48 points in like 3 games.
Makes me sick.
It's crazy.
Makes me sick.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to diss. I'm not trying to diss it. Like, I don't need your angry tweets
It's
about
still
how
good.
I'm stupid.
Yeah,
because
we
I
all
don't like
know
the same-
TSN is the better network, and
Clearly.
that's a given.
Whoa.
So, like, we don't need to overhype anything.
Well, I mean, they are the Toronto Sports Network.
They're what?
Toronto Sports Network.
Toronto Net. Leafs Net. Do you think, is this just me, has TSN dialed back the promotion of it?
I think so.
I think they have, because they
used to like follow the guys to their rooms, and that like it would be like
they
they'd
way overdid it.
Yeah. Do you think they're just not allowed to do that anymore?
Yeah, that might be a Hockey Canada thing.
Yeah, like it's almost too much for these guys.
I do know there is one person in the media who a player on Team Canada had to be like, "Can you get this guy away from me, please?"
Wow.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's
It
a
was-
story you'll have to tell us
'cause
after.
it was-
What? Don't say who, but what happened?
Oh, it was basically just this player on Team Canada just had to finally say to someone like, "Enough with this guy." Like he basically he's too buddy acting like he's their pal. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, get out of here.
Yeah, that can be
Leave
a
me
problem.
alone. I'm trying to play.
That can be a problem.
Right.
You're
a reporter. You're
not
not on the
reporter.
team.
You're not friends.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
friends
Well, I
with
didn't
these
say
people.
reporter. I didn't say anything.
It could be. You know what? The thing about it's an odd position we're in because I think there are people that have heard stuff, and there are people that we're aware have listened to this show and don't like us, or people that do, but there are people that very definitely know don't like us. And it's funny because you have to cover them, and they don't want to respond to you because they don't want to give they don't want to. Apparently, from what I've heard, specifically one guy does not like us at all. But
What is happening?
No, it's not in the media. It's a former player. Hates us. And, Steve, you just can't remember because you can't remember. But as soon as I say it after the show's done, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
We've talked about this multiple times. But there's a few people that it's such a weird thing in the media because you love the sport so much. You watch these guys all the time. You sometimes get the chance to meet them.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you meet them and you go, what have I said about this person that would probably make them hate me?
Right.
That is definitely a tough thing for me. And I'm at a point in my career where I don't want to
I'm not trying to be
talk
friends.
to the Leafs. No.
Not because you wouldn't be friendly.
Yeah.
But because it's like you're the career that you're in puts you at loggerheads with being friends with somebody,
Yeah.
right?
I'll just straight up say one time while he was still a Leaf, I got a text from Ben Scrivens about something I said.
Oh, really?
And I was caught between, I really like Ben and I consider him a friend, and also this can't be happening.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Zach Hyman's a great guy, and I'll say hi to him whenever I see him, but I don't know. It's got to be arm's length.
Yeah, and I know Paul Bissonnette. He's just he hates us.
Nah, does he?
Yeah,
What?
all the time. He gets
What?
in my face and he's like,
I don't know if Paul Bissonnette
you know,
knows who I am.
I don't
he
think
does.
he
He
does.
hates you. Yeah, he's
believe it.
and I'm like, Biz nasty. You
would
need to chill. Dangle's a good dude. He's like, nah, I need to knock him out with some vodka. Listen
vodka,
to Spitting
can't do
Chicklets. Yeah.
Biz, the one time I ever spoke to him was, I think I've told the story before, it was for a Nike shoot. And it was like a 5-minute interview, and we could only use 10 seconds of it because he spent the entire time chirping my shoes.
That's so
He was
funny.
chirping my Nike shoes because, I don't know, it was a busy shoot, and I scuffed them on something, and he's making fun of
That's
my
amazing.
Nike shoes.
That's
and
amazing.
we couldn't use it. Freaking idiot.
Do you think he
So
knew?
good. I don't know.
Yeah.
You think he galaxy
No,
brained
I
it?
think he was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And he was, but Nike's those are our products. You may not
can't.
make fun of them.
Can I give you an example, by the way, of when you met someone and you go, what have I said?
Okay.
John Scott.
Oh my God! Yeah, and you
Yeah,
surprised
but what do we
me
had
with
him on the
show?
had him on the show? Yeah.
Because I had him at BT, and he had his book out, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I got him on the show here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because
I don't think he knew that we'd talked about him.
because I
No,
think
there's
Merrick
no
and
way.
Wyshynski, thank God, they took all the heat for that.
They did.
Because it was funny, that whole situation for voting for him for the All-Star game, literally the same day, both of our episodes come out,
Yeah.
and we both went to the same place about voting for John Scott for the
Without
All-Star
talking
game.
to each other.
And then,
Yeah.
and it was funny because afterwards people were like, hey, did you guys there was a couple people on Twitter that were like,
you
guys
ripped
plan
off
this?
American Wyshynski.
Yeah, which we didn't.
You ripped them off. They had the same idea.
I'll be honest, their episode came out the same day ours did. I didn't have time to listen to it before we did our
no.
show.
This is my story from that day. So we recorded the podcast, and then I went to the CBC studios from the other Sportsnet campus where the protest was. And Merrick comes up from behind me, taps me on the shoulder. He's like, hey, see the John Scott stuff? And I went, yeah. Oh, yeah, you heard? He's like, huh? I'm like, you heard our show? It just got uploaded. You got it on notifications or something? He's like, no, we did that. And I went, uh-oh. And I went and looked at the website, and he was 5th already. And I was like, uh-oh. And then he won by a landslide.
Well, yeah, they were.
Well, it wasn't winning.
Yeah.
It was just the same idea.
No. John Scott won.
Oh,
He
yeah.
won the
John, I
most
thought you
Yeah,
meant
no,
Merrick
American
won
Wyshynski.
No.
the war of who
Yeah.
did it first.
I did not want to win it.
Okay.
Well, and they took all the shit from the
Yeah.
NHL, and we didn't. So thank God for that.
The league called them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Called Sportsnet and was like, what the fuck? You guys...
There is one legendary Merrick story about that, but it's just not mine to tell. One day he'll
We got
tell
to
it.
have him back on.
Oh, yeah.
He was
There is-
one of the. That was one of the most fun episodes we've
We'll
ever
do
done.
ice surfing on the podcast.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Jeff surfing.
Jeff Survey.
Jeff Survey.
That'll be the name
We
of
have
the
a
show.
title already.
I like that.
He is.
Dun,
Jeff's one of the great minds in hockey broadcasting. What I would love to do with Jeff is some sort of because he's got like an encyclopedia mind, right? He's got one of those minds that you like read the page and it's committed to memory, right? I would love to do like an NHL fights version of that.
Oh, yeah.
So like
he knows them all.
So it'd be like would he know the dates they happened on and why they happened and stuff like that too?
Oh my, yes. I had him. I had a podcast a long time ago with Justin Fisher, and we had Merrick on, and I go, "What's the best hockey fight you've ever seen?" He took a second and he goes, "Nasty John Morasti versus Steve Bosse in the Quebec Senior League." Okay, Jeff, and I looked it up, and damn it, if it's not the best hockey fight I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's insane. Cocaine fists, just the entire time.
Was it the 80s?
No, it was like I think the year started with the two. Like,
Wow, really?
They just chucked.
Damn.
Friggin' shocked. John Morasti, he is a great guy to look up YouTube videos for. All his fights are 1,000 punches per fight. There is one fight I remember from the year I covered the KHL. He played for a team called Vitas, which is basically owned by a gang, and they only wanted to see fights. And he's in a fight with this poor Russian guy, and the Russian guy is punching John Morasti in the head. Morasti looks at someone, sticks out his tongue like a lunatic, and then turns around and one punches the guy who he was allowing to punch him in the head. There's another video of John Morasti and Yablonsky. I forget his first name, but Vitas had 4 of the meanest goons from North America, and they just used all their import slots to have these guys in their team. Because the owners of the team just loved fights.
So and they never wanted to make the playoffs. They never wanted to win, right? Like that was the weird thing with that team.
They just didn't care. And then, so those guys are at a wedding, and a bunch of these guys, someone pulled out their phone, and a bunch of these guys at the wedding are just drunk off their asses, and they're trying to fight them. And these poor guys are trying to say, "No, do you know who I am?" Like MMA, and oh yeah, that was another thing. In the off season, they fought MMA, not trained, fought, like actual pro fights. Yes. So MMA, and the video ends with them knocking out an entire wedding. They knocked out like a dozen people
because they wanted to fight.
Look it up, John Morasti and Yablonsky. It's freaking
it's on
ridiculous.
YouTube. That's insane.
It's on YouTube.
Oh.
This wedding fight between these two guys. It's like 4 of them. They're backed against a wall, and they're like, "No, this is going to end very poorly for you. Trust me."
I don't even want to see this.
Yeah, I'm like that's.
But the guy holding the camera is going, "Morasti, Yablonsky, Morasti." He's the one guy who knows.
This sounds
And he's like,
terrible.
"Oh, let me pull out my Russian camera because I know this whole wedding's about to get knocked out." And then they knocked out the whole
I
wedding.
probably could use that for insurance.
Are we gonna get to Bachelor Bios?
Yeah, we are. But let me just tell you one quick thing.
All right.
Did you guys see the back and forth between Shawn Simpson of TSN and Darren Dreger?
No.
I saw one.
So here, let me just read the sequence of tweets to you, and then we'll get to the things. I'm sorry.
Wasn't Shaun Simpson the guy who like allegedly was sort of in the running for Sens GM?
I think so. And he's also wasn't he part of the Leafs too at one point? Wasn't he part of Leafs man? I don't know. Anyway, so he's in Ottawa, I believe now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, TSN 1200. He tweeted this yesterday. Duchesne has the cement legs going, little flashes and tricky plays, but no real pace.
Which is a legitimate criticism. You can say that.
Darren Dreger retweets him and says, "Always an easy game from where we sit, Simmer."
I mean, so you're just never supposed to critique. Just everything's fine then. All players are trying their best. And you should never criticize anyone for anything.
So
Shaun
Simpson tweets him back and says, "Not easy at all, Dregs. We are paid to give professional opinions. Do you agree or disagree?"
I didn't think I'd take this guy's side on a debate, but yep.
Darren Dreger retweets him and says, "Nothing wrong with opinion, but I haven't watched every Preds game this season or every Duchesne shift. Not sure I would ever use, quote, cement legs to describe an NHL player. That's just me. ...
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What is?
Yes, it is just you. I saw it was Platinum Seat goes, oh God, who's Duchesne's agent?
Yeah. And then, by the way, it's Brisson.
Yeah, it's not.
Shaun
Yeah.
Simpson then
Not as fun.
retweets him and says, I've watched lots and watched him in every game in Ottawa. Can you give me a scouting report on his play? Love to hear what terms you use.
Oh, geez, this is awkward. These are two TSM guys.
Yeah. This is where it gets weird. Right? It goes from, like, it's very odd. And then it gets personal here a little bit. It feels like, anyway. Can you give me a scouting report on his play? Love to hear what terms you use.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh.
Are they quote tweeting each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're doing this publicly.
Why?
And this is over the course of an hour. It starts at 8:45. We're now at 9:54.
no.
Darren Dreger, not going to spar with you, Simmer. Not that invested. I would rank Duchesne among the many NHL stars. You lean to the negative, but you use your platform as you see fit. I didn't realize, quote, cement legs is still used as a common scouting term.
Wow.
You're telling me scouts do not say, I don't like how this player skates.
And Shaun Simpson retweets him again
Oh, no.
and says, in caps, K.
Well, in cap.
In cap.
Okay.
Is that
ooh.
not the most awkward back and forth you've ever seen in your entire life?
That is so passive aggressive. That is going to be so awkward when they see each other at high school on Monday.
I couldn't believe it was two guys from the same company going back and forth like that.
Yikes.
Like, yo, take this offline, boys.
Yeah, that's bad.
I-
Yeah, text each other. You must have each other's numbers.
I guess. Maybe they lost it now. But, like, part of me is like, okay, yeah, I 100% see Shaun Simpson's thing where it's like, hey, man, like, yeah, I was just using a term to describe Duchesne's play. But then he goes so far. Like, he goes at him so hard, and it's like, whoa.
I don't even think Duchesne would care about that.
No.
Like, that's very run-of-the-mill criticism.
Right, for sure. And that's just saying you're having a slow night, and that happens. But then to have...
That went there.
But he
right?
went at Dregs pretty hard for it, too.
Yeah. What's going on there?
Man, it's just like both parties are... It's like, well, I think he was pretty upset that easy game for us, Simmer. It's like, well, that's what I'm paid to do, man.
And then Ian Mendes is just sitting there like, I'm just kind of a nice guy.
Yeah, yeah. But Eugene Melnyk banned me from everything. Remember? Didn't he get
did he?
banned from everything? Because you need Eugene Melnyk, because you need Eugene Melnyk. He wasn't allowed to do...
Stupid.
Anyway.
I got a lot of time for you, Ian Mendes.
We've got Bachelor Bios. So these are the Bachelorettes, but the show is The Bachelor. This is the version. So it's it's women, right? The man.
Yes.
There's the guy, and they're all fighting
Oh, it's
for this
the guy. Oh.
The guy this season, Peter Weber.
What's Peter about?
I'm going to read his bio here. Tell me what you think about
It's a
Peter.
boring name.
It is.
It is a very boring
All
name.
the Peters listening are like, what? Excuse me.
Peter
I'm
Weber.
Pete.
No, Peter Weber.
You know it's a really boring name. Pete, as in Blackburn.
Yeah. Take your short kings and shove it. That is my new favorite brand. Is he just cheers for the NHL short players?
Yeah. He's
Sam Girard and
man.
Alex DeBrincat.
He's
like,
good.
what?
He's very good at what he does.
God damn.
The guy's a genius.
I just like sometimes going through Pete's Twitter and just being like, what did he tweet today?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, every now and then, like if he says something about the Leafs where I go, what? I got to remind myself, it's Pete.
Yeah.
He's
the
a
best.
genius.
He's so funny. Oh my God.
Airline pilot Peter Weber caught the attention of Bachelorette Hannah Brown and all of America the first night they met, stepping out of the limo and expressing his desire for a co-pilot in life. While Peter seemed sweet at first glance, it became clear this charming man in uniform could bring the heat. The passion between Hannah and Peter was undeniable. After expressing his love to her and spending a memorable night in a windmill together, all of America was left shocked and heartbroken with Hannah's decision to end the relationship. Returning home from Greece, Peter was forced to confront his pain and pick up the pieces of his broken heart. Now, Peter is back to take his search for true love to new heights on the 24th season of ABC's hit romance reality series, The Bachelor, premiering January 2020.
That is a great elevator pitch.
Wow.
Damn.
That is a really good elevator
Wow.
pitch.
ABC can write.
See, Hannah Brown chose Jed Wyatt as her fiance, although they broke up after filming.
really?
After it emerged through People magazine that Wyatt had been in a relationship with another woman prior to and during his stint on The Bachelorette. Brown later asked runner-up Tyler Cameron out on a date.
Hannah, I think it's about time you just move on.
How are you going to cheat on national television?
Yo, I don't know how people think they can get away with
That's
that.
a wild story.
That is
Every
nuts.
year someone thinks they can... You know what I notice about a contestant on The Bachelor? The audacity.
It's crazy how they're like, hey, I'm going to go on national television, and, my girlfriend back home is not going to realize that I'm on TV. Like,
Yeah,
what?
honey, I'm going on a business trip for 2 months.
6 to 8 months. Yeah. I'll be back.
By the way, I looked up Jed Wyatt on Google, and he looks like how a Toby Keith song sounds.
His name is Jed.
Does he look like ripped jeans and a cold beer?
Yes.
Ripped jeans
Totally.
and a cold beer
Totally.
on a Saturday night?
is that a Toby Keith
Back
song?
up my pickup truck in my cowboy boots. It's a ripped jean and cold beer kind of night.
Yeah, there you go. There's a top 10 list of
First
things
of all,
you
that
must
was
rent.
really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's literally like country music is either rock from the 70s or 90s pop with 10 different things in it that make it country. Cold beer, my girl, boots, truck,
Yeah.
maybe your dog.
Probably jeans.
Bar?
Jeans is
Jeans
is-
a very popular country topic.
Especially Wrangler.
Throw some jeans.
They go deep, man. They go deep.
They got to be Wrangler, though. They got to be Wrangler jeans.
I think there's a Toby Keith song called "I Like This Bar," and I actually really like that song.
No,
Self-aware country is listenable.
Yeah, like he's got another song called "Red Solo Cup," also great.
Yeah. You ever listen to a country song and go, "Ugh, they mean it."
Yeah.
Oh, turn it off.
Yeah.
They mean it.
No,
These guys are kidding.
Yeah.
No, keep this one on.
Yeah.
He's kidding. That's fine. No, country songs that mean it are
So
tough
A
to listen
native
to.
of Westlake Village, California, Peter, 28, grew up just minutes from the Bachelor Mansion. Wow.
He's
That's
in his
weird.
prime.
He was raised with a strong example of the marriage he wants by his loving parents. Having met while working on the same flight for over 30 years ago, Peter's parents have set the perfect example of lasting love. So that's crazy. His parents met they worked together on an airline.
That's beautiful.
He and his brother Jack followed in their parents' footsteps, developing a passion for aviation. At 23, Peter was working as a pilot, and by 25, he landed his dream job as captain for a major commercial airline.
Landed. Another good thing they do is just all the little aviation stuff.
Right?
You're at new heights.
All that's
Landed.
missing now is someone to whom to share his life, with whom to share his life. When Peter isn't flying for work or fun, he's embracing his mother's Cuban culture in the kitchen or letting loose on the dance floor. This hopeless romantic is eager to find his co-pilot to join him for a full life of love.
damn, if you can make a good Cuban sandwich, I'd sign up for this show. I love Cuban sandwiches.
So that's Peter. That's
Okay.
Peter Weber. Now
All
you
right.
guys know. Now everybody listening knows.
The Pete Dog.
Now we're going to run through the people they've brought in to potentially spend a life of co-piloting with Peter.
I'm just picturing the corny ABC writer. All right, he's a pilot, so we're going with pilot lines. Everyone who thought we were going with Cuban cigars, sorry to disappoint you. And there's one writer just crip an entire notepad.
They're like, damn it! I did the Cuban ones.
I dedicated 6 months to cigar jokes. Damn it! It's my dream to write Bachelor bios for CBC, ABC. Damn it!
ABC.
All right. I think how we'll do this is I'll read out. So Amy Kaufman, who's a writer for the LA Times, she's also done
Amy
some-
in L.A.
Amy in LA.
Love
Yes,
her.
yes. Great Twitter
fo-
account.
Great follow.
So
man.
she did little tweet summaries of the bios. I'm going to read the little tweet summaries that Amy Kaufman has done. Okay. When you hear a red flag, wave your red flag and we'll do a deep dive into the rest of their bio.
Gotcha.
You cool with that, Adam?
Yeah, I'm into it.
All right. Start with Aaliyah. 24, won Miss Texas in 2019 after entering or competing in the pageant 3 times previously.
Wow.
In her spare time, she likes to write poetry and scroll through Reddit.
She actually seems kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm struggling to, I myself scroll through Reddit. I write.
You were a
I was
pageant
a
queen.
beauty queen.
Yeah. I mean, I think beauty
Is
queen
this
sort of
Steve?
goes with the territory, right? Don't you have to be obnoxiously hot on both sides?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's like, okay, yeah, I would expect you won some beauty competitions.
What's her name?
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. I like Aaliyah's music.
Aaliyah. They
Yeah.
spell with 2 A's.
Oh,
Or
that's
3
annoying.
A's.
But,
Aaliyah.
okay, red flag.
All right.
No, she's cool.
Avon Leah.
Her full name is Avon Leah?
Avonlea. Avon Leah.
Avon Lee?
Avon Lee?
I think it's Avonlea.
I think it's Avon Lee.
I'm going to go with the
There's
Avon Leah.
I think there's a show called Road to Avonlea, too.
What do her friends call her? Lee or Av? Maybe they call her Vaughn?
Road to Avonlea.
She's 27. What is the show about?
Road to Avonlea. Sarah Stanley is sent to live with her deceased mother's relatives in the
Oh,
town of
gosh.
Avonlea. January 7th, 1990 to March 31st, 1996. And it has a 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Curiously
6-year
similar story
run.
and timeline to Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Anyway.
27, cattle rancher who thanks her cows for their hard work each time she milks them.
Okay, I like that.
This is interesting.
Polite to animals.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a deep dive onto Avonlea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to learn a little bit more about
Yeah.
her?
I want
All
to...
right, let's pull up the full bio.
Okay, here's why.
Okay.
One reality show character has changed how I view the hard-working gal. There's a character Below Deck is a show that I've talked about many times. It's about yachties, which is just people who work on yachts.
Lil Yachty,
Little yachties.
the rapper.
She
Lil
was
Boat.
a boat captain in Alaska. And she's one of those tough... I mean, you got to be nails to friggin' survive in Alaska, period. And then to survive on the water, it's a different thing. Here's the thing about her. She will punch you in the neck at any given moment for no good reason. So whenever I hear someone that might fit that profile, I'm like, she might punch someone in the neck. I want to know if Avonlea will punch someone in the aorta.
She's looking for a gentleman who knows how to take care of a Texas woman. A Texas woman.
Here we go.
She may
That's
be
an
a
orange
we go.
flag. That one's orange.
She may be a city slicker now, but she lived on a ranch until she was 13, and up until that point in her life, she assumed everyone had cattle in their homes. With her degree in ranch management, this Texas beauty has quite a diverse lifestyle. When Avonlea's not working hard in the family cattle ranching business, she's strutting her stuff on the runway for local Texas designers. So she's a model.
Local? Okay, I can get behind
Wait,
that.
is this her full bio, or is there more bio if I say red flag?
There's more bio coming.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, it's deep. Okay, let's keep going.
I told
let's keep going.
There's the quick summaries, and then if you want to do a deep dive, I'll read the full paragraph on them.
If you hate this once a year, shut up.
I'm having
a
so
lot of
much
people
fun.
really like it.
No, let's go deep
including
dive.
us
Deep
three.
dive this one.
All right, we can keep going on her. There are days when I'm baling hay in the morning and going and doing a runway show at night. That's her quote.
Okay.
You could definitely say Avonlea lives the best of both worlds. Avonlea's ideal husband knows what he wants and goes for it. She wants someone who values family above all else and believes in romantic signs from above. Speaking of signs,
Romantic signs from God?
romantic signs from above. That's what she said.
Okay.
Speaking of signs,
Oh.
Avonlea's parents first met when her mom was a flight attendant. Sound familiar?
Oh.
They wrote sound familiar in the bio. All right.
Pete the pilot.
And then here's her
What's
things.
my opinion about her? I don't know. It's up in the air. Give me a job, ABC. Give me a job.
Fasten your seatbelts. We're getting ready for
Oh,
takeoff.
Adam.
I'm sorry.
So Avonlea is a certified scuba diver and has traveled to almost 50 states in an RV. This
I
came
don't
out
know.
of,
She sounds kind of cool,
that
man.
came out of nowhere though. The RV thing.
I would do the RV thing.
Yeah, but where did that come from? Like this whole time we're talking about her ranch stuff, and then all of a sudden we learn that she's been around America in an RV.
Yeah.
When did
It's on.
when
I
did
think
she
they just
do
decided
that?
to focus on the ranch theme because that's always a popular theme.
This
But
with
so
this
did
show.
she spend her 20s in an RV?
The second part of her bio is clashing with the first
Yeah.
Because that,
But it's interesting.
50 states in an RV is a lot of years.
Yeah.
I want family first and also non-stop travel adventure.
And I fucking scuba dive too, somehow, as I was driving through North Dakota.
Yeah, like this. Am I wrong saying this sounds like too many things?
Well, she definitely seems like you would have to be a high energy person. You know, there are high energy people.
That's totally fine. Okay, are we now getting into void filling territory?
What do you mean?
What, you do a bunch of different stuff to fill a void?
Because you're running from something?
I don't know.
You're RVing
for
from
the
something?
podcast.
Oh, yeah. No, she's not running. She's RVing.
RVing, yeah.
And scubaing. And also ranching.
And walking, catwalking.
Catwalking? Did I miss that one?
Yeah,
She's
she
a
bales
pageant
hay,
queen.
and then
yeah.
at night
She's
she
a model. Yeah. She runs the ranch in the morning and she models at night.
I was literally picturing her with like a leash walking cats.
Oh my god.
Wait, that's a thing? Who knew?
I was confused.
That's so cute, Mittens, that you have your own leash.
I was like, I'm a Lisa Cycle. Why would she do that? I'm an idiot. I'm a moron.
Woo! All right, Jesse, keep it going.
We're going to the next one.
Next one, let's go.
Alexa, an esthetician who owns her own waxing salon.
She's a what?
Esthetician
Eczema?
who owns her own waxing salon. She will call people out to their face and hates roller coasters.
Oh, give me the red
want-
freaking flag right here.
Yeah.
I
You
love
think
people
Alexa?
like this. I love people
What?
like this. You know, it's like, these are the people that are like, hey, you're a piece of shit. You know me, I just say it how it is.
She's gonna.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you're like, wow, you were just extremely insulting. Yeah, but you know I speak the truth.
I tell it how it is.
And they surround themselves with a bunch of sycophants who are like, yeah, she just says it how it is. I just hope she doesn't talk about me.
What? Okay, so say she will call someone out to her face and what?
And likes a good puzzle.
And hates roller coasters.
And okay,
So she's out there cussing at roller coasters.
she will throw a drink on someone, but it'll be when they're like by the pool. So they're wearing a swimsuit. So even though she threw a drink on them, it's not high stakes, right?
Yeah.
Because they're ready to get wet anyway. You know someone is really mad at you if you're wearing clothes and they throw a drink
True,
at
good
you.
point.
She's a posing drink thrower.
So Alexa, deep diving into her bio because somebody raised their red flag. Adam Wilde did.
I did.
Alexa, she puts in her factoid, she decided to move to Chicago during a game of heads or tails.
Red flag. There we go. Now we got two flags.
We
down
got
on the
two
field.
red flags. Wow.
Oh yeah.
2 penalty flags down on the field. All right.
Yeah.
So she had just broken up with her high school sweetheart of 7 years and was finally ready to move on. So in a game of heads or tails, she decided to move to Chicago. She got her esthetician license and opened up her own waxing salon.
Good for her. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said she calls herself a total free spirit and it has a lot of hippie in her. She's all about love and acceptance, but at the same time...
Except for when she has to call your shit out. Ooh.
Read the,
Okay.
listen to this sentence.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
Listen to this sentence.
Sorry.
You go.
She's all about love and acceptance, but at the same time, this girl has opinions and isn't afraid to express them.
Oh,
She prides herself on being the type of person to call people out to their face rather than behind their back.
Can I be honest with you? Anybody that says it quite that way, and I feel like they're transcribing, is somebody that probably is too aggressive when they're saying. See, Steve, I wouldn't. If I needed to address an issue with Steve, I would address it with Steve. But I wouldn't be like, Steve, I need to call you out for something.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're saying it with attitude.
There's an edge to that, you know?
Adam and I have known each other long enough that we've had fights. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, we're a good couple because we fight well.
Yeah, we're just like, hey,
Hey,
okay.
it's never been Adam. I need to call you out on something.
You better
know what,
listen
Steve?
up.
I'm not afraid to call you out to your face.
You get your jeans out of the goddamn freezer, Adam. Am I off base saying that someone who fancies themselves a free spirit / hippie is probably self-centered?
But it's
Yeah, your friends have to call you that.
it's the worst because she says she's a hippie, which is about love. But I'm gonna call you out.
Love and
Like,
acceptance. Yeah,
the
love
fuck
and
is that?
acceptance for who
That
you-
is Adam. You're so good at this.
Yeah.
Your friends, to be a free spirit, your friends have to call you that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, I am a free spirit.
That's like me saying, I'm an old soul. You'd be like, what?
Douchebag.
Shut up.
No, that's something someone has to say about you.
Yeah, they'd be like, you know about, like the closest thing I've ever got to that is Steve's like, different dude.
Different dude.
Yeah.
I can't be like, I'm a different dude. People will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But Steve says it, and it's like, oh, now it makes sense.
No, self-proclaimed old souls always think they're way smarter than
You're
they
like,
are.
oh, I love Edgar Allan Poe, and I love reading Dickens
Marcus
by
Allen.
myself.
Wanker.
Yeah. Oh,
You're a complete wanker.
yeah. Oh, you're the kind of person who gives their kid a bad name so you can tell people at a party why you chose that name.
Yeah.
Great.
So anyway, this is Atticus.
So,
No, I actually like old
this
names.
is my kid, Atticus and Harper. Harperly. Anyway,
My cousin who you worked with has a daughter named Harper, you bastard.
Well,
We're gonna wave our 2 or 3 red flags for Alexa. Please stay away, Peter. We're moving on to Courtney. Courtney's 26, a cosmetologist who is extremely claustrophobic and extremely turned on by men in cowboy boots.
Cosmetologist. Is that makeup?
Yes.
Okay. It was that or space?
I think we're good to move on.
All right, Courtney,
I mean, like, good for her. Men in cowboy boots are
you're
good
a
looking.
regular ass person.
To look for with her, she is the one who gets picked on.
Why?
I just smell it.
By the way, liking. Yeah, no, never mind.
All right.
No, let's keep going.
Well, because
Let's
there's
move
the
on.
bully.
Let's move on.
There's always the bully, and then
Oh,
there's
yeah.
the one who gets picked
Oh,
on.
I think we just talked about the bully.
Oh, yeah. I think
Deandra, 23.
I'm gonna call you up my flower crown, motherfucker. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Take this. The
kind of
flowers
person-
in your face.
She just takes it off and whips it at you and be like, time to be called out.
starts a mosh pit at Coachella. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Alexa's
No,
the worst.
starts a mosh pit at Woodstock in '69.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Where the stakes are people actually die. Sorry.
23 is a home care coordinator whose favorite feeling in the world is being the center of attention.
Red flag.
Okay, there we go.
She
Let's get
has
into it.
10 siblings. She wants a man who will kill a spider for her as she runs away screaming.
Okay. So she's got 10 siblings and wants to be the center of attention? She's Ron Weasley.
Stop.
I don't blame her for wanting to be the center of attention after being like one of 10 kids. Yeah, I can't blame her for
She's
that.
Ron Weasley.
Let's keep going. Let's keep
I know
going.
what she sees in the mirror of Erised.
You want to learn a little about her?
Yeah, red flag's up. So
Yeah, red flag is up. Deandra still cries when she gets her blood drawn. She considers herself to be a farmer's market aficionado.
Oof.
She hates EDM.
TDM.
electronic
the
dance
Yeah,
music.
yeah. You know
She
what?
hates Edmonton.
I was about to say.
What do you got against the Oilers, man?
I always just call it techno. She's from Calgary.
I don't like White Ave.
I hate it. Jerome McGinley can't stand him. The only good thing about him.
Hey, you know what? The Gretzky Oilers weren't that great anyway.
Oh, boo.
If you era adjust their stats, they weren't all that impressive.
Animal garbage.
Anyway, continue.
She's independent, intelligent woman who comes from a diverse background and isn't afraid to be herself. She was born in Texas, but grew up in Maine and spent a whole lot of time in Nigeria, where her father was born.
Oh, worldly. I like that.
She's now moved back to
Worldly.
Texas and loves to spend her free time bar hopping and trying out new restaurants. One thing Deandra has going for her is that since she has grew up with 10 siblings, she knows how to stand out in a crowded room. Her favorite feeling in the world is being the center of attention, and according to her mom, she thrives in the spotlight. Deandra has been in one serious relationship in her life and is ready to find her forever.
She's going to go deep.
You think so?
I think she's going to
Oh.
go deep
The
because
thing-
that whole show is you need to stand out in the crowd.
Yeah.
And she's had to fight with 10 siblings her whole life.
Oh, she's going
Yeah.
to be good at this.
But like not fight, like charm.
Yeah. You're right.
She's going to go deep.
You're right. Good point. All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right.
That's a good point. Wow.
Eunice, 23, flight attendant. Ooh, they're lining up the flight attendants. Flight attendant who can knock back Uzi like it's water. Uzo. Uzo. What's Uzo?
Like Uzi.
No,
In
that's
the
like
States, you
Uzo.
could imagine it could
She's
be Uzi.
good at Grand Theft Auto. Uzo is
The Greek shot.
yeah.
It tastes like black licorice, I think.
Her
like
signature
Zambuca.
dance move is something called the ponytail helicopter. That's where
Oh,
you
she
whip
just
your hair.
swings her head around.
She's Willow Smith.
I went to school.
I
with
whip my hair back and forth.
Remember Umbercash?
Yes. Yeah, he had that.
He would always put the glow stick in his head.
Yep.
And while doing it with his hands, he would also swing his head.
That was cool.
I like that.
Hannah Ann, 23. She's a model who lives with her parents, where the walls are all decorated with her artwork she's painted.
Oh, no.
Do you want to learn more?
She's
about
probably, red flag, only child. I guarantee it. And I say this as an only child.
Adam would never date himself.
Would you date yourself, Adam?
I could not date someone as selfish as I am.
That's a good line.
There's got to be balance, man.
That's a good line.
Yeah, they got to cater to just you. And you, and you.
Hannah Ann could watch home improvement shows all day and never get bored.
Okay.
When Hannah Ann is nervous, she becomes very talkative. Hannah Ann's home is decorated with artwork that she painted. She grew up in Tennessee with her younger sister and younger brother.
Not an only child.
2 siblings.
Okay.
Her parents are not her only role models. They are also her landlords, as she still lives at home.
Ooh, how old?
Does she pay rent, though?
23.
That's important.
They don't mention.
If you pay rent, then I have mad respect. If you pay your parents rent, mad respect.
I can't talk shit. 23, I was still living at home.
There you go.
I was in and out.
She travels the world for work and would love to find a man to join her on her adventure. She has a cute southern twang, which we know Peter is a sucker for. Hannah Ann describes her last relationship as all chemistry but little friendship. Now Hannah Ann is ready to find a man who can be her best friend.
Hannah Ann's getting on my nerves. Is Ann her middle name?
No, I think they call her Hannah Ann. That's
Yeah,
There's probably 2 Hannahs, that's why.
maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd rather be Hannah 2. Hannah Ann just
Doesn't work.
No.
What are we giving Hannah Ann? She's right?
She's there.
I
Also-
thought it was gonna be like, and my parents did this for me, and my
Right.
because you got to think about that. It's your parents' house, and it's decorated with your artwork. And that's why I defaulted to only child, because parents of only children, such as myself, tend to be overly proud of their very otherwise mediocre kids.
Luna Lovegood.
Luna Lovegood, there you go.
Jade, 27, flight attendant.
Ugh.
She got married at 22 due to pressure from her Mormon culture. If she had to describe her aesthetic, she would call it organized chaos.
Okay.
I already like this person. You know why?
What?
Because she went against her own societal norms and got a divorce in Mormonism.
She had to escape shit.
Dude,
Yeah,
there's some character there.
There's
Let's
someone
find out
who's
some
lived
more.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want. She stands for something. I like it.
All those like escaping Amish shows.
Well, Mormonism isn't that. Parts of it are,
Wow.
but majority of I don't want to.
It's a different version of it.
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's still all the same. Like, you are expected to get married awfully young and expected to play a role, and good for her for not doing that. So what's the what is she going to say?
She grew up in... I have a thing stuck in my throat.
You'll be okay. I believe in you. Is that actually San Pellegrino, or is that your bottle that you've been reusing because you don't care?
This is a fresh one. I bought it when I went over to Longos today.
Wow.
Keep going.
She grew up in Mormon culture where she says there was a lot of pressure to get married. And unfortunately for Jade, that's what she did. At 22 years of age, she knew right away that she and her ex were not compatible for the long haul. Very mature.
That is.
Now that Jade's divorce is finalized, she has a new outlook on love and knows exactly what she's looking for. She spends her time working as a flight attendant and is currently working towards her private pilot's license.
Good for her.
When
Hey.
she's not on the job, she loves to go line dancing and considers herself to be a two-step queen. Are her and Peter too similar? Or will these two hit it off immediately and line dance straight to each other's hearts? Jade claims that she hosts the best game night in town. Even though she's a flight attendant, Jade is very afraid of heights. Interesting. If Jade has to assign an aesthetic to her life, it would be organized chaos. I think she's a front runner.
I like her. She's, I'm going to say, naturally curious.
And there's common ground there.
Yeah.
They got an interest in flying. That's important to have something major like that.
But I think to be in such a secluded upbringing, and then I'm going to be a flight attendant and try to become a pilot where I can go wherever the hell I want.
Yeah.
She's naturally curious and confident enough to dance.
You can tell the era has changed around us because the first time we did this, they were just the most obnoxious, weird bios, and now they're very thoughtful. And
Hey, my name's Fuck, and I like to wear 3 hats at the same time.
yeah, and now it's like it's like, well, we're gonna treat them with respect. Finally,
But now there's like you can see there's some passion behind this.
Yeah, they did change up the way they're writing these bios.
Yeah. So Jasmine, 25, is a client relations manager who's turned off by guys who sit on the couch all day and play video games.
Okay, move on. If I want to sit on the damn couch, I'm an adult, and I bought that damn couch.
I don't think you and Jasmine are going to last.
I don't think so.
I think you should
You know
not
what?
give Jasmine a rose.
I would not, because I like my time on the couch.
She
and I
would
don't like
consider proposing to a man who can get her Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
Is this Jasmine still?
This is Jasmine still. So Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays.
So
That's
you want
their thing.
microwave Chick-fil-A?
So she would never propose to a man.
Or is that she
that
wants
the
someone to
joke?
go above and beyond? You want a day-old Chick-fil-A sandwich is what I'm hearing.
I don't get it.
I already don't like Jasmine.
It's not that I don't like her. I just know that we would not.
Because you like video games.
It's not good when you're
Yeah, because I like to chill out sometimes, man. What the hell's the problem with
What
that?
the fuck, Jasmine?
Sorry, I have a little bit of PTSD from that because, I love my parents, but my parents have this Victorian way of always got to be doing something, and so I'm sort of like that sometimes,
Adam!
and then I crash.
The crops!
Yeah. So it's nice for me now as an adult because I can actually sit on my couch and do nothing, and it's okay.
You know what's not
Sometimes
good?
that's okay.
When your bio is exhausting.
Let's keep moving. Next
Jasmine's
person.
best friend is her golden retriever named Gnarls Barkley.
Shit, now I
No,
like her.
let's-
oh,
no.
the name!
Move.
You know what? No.
Move.
Jasmine!
Move. Next person. Next.
Adam
Next.
Golden Retriever,
Next.
yes,
I've been calling
Gnarls
next for
Barkley.
3
No.
sentences here. Let's keep going.
How do you give a Golden Retriever a shitty name? I hate her!
I named her after a guy that had a couple hits.
Jasmine will know that she's met the man of her dreams when he can help her build a table.
Like IKEA?
I don't know. She just says when she knows
Help
he
her
can
build a table.
he can
This
build-
person is steamed carrots. Personified.
That's a good line.
All right, Jesse, you may as well keep reading. We're this deep.
Jenna, 22.
We're moving on from
You want
Steve
more
Carrots.
Jasmine? You hate Jasmine. Everybody hates Jasmine.
I want to hate her more!
All right, let's keep going with Jasmine.
She'll consider proposing. She finds a man who can get her Chick-fil-A on Sunday.
Exhausting.
She was
carrots.
in one serious relationship that lasted for 3 years, but when her ex suddenly decided that he didn't want to have kids, Jasmine sent him packing because that's a deal breaker. She enjoys traveling, attending her book club meetings, cooking, rock climbing, and volunteering at her church every Sunday. She'd like to travel the world before she starts a family, and specifically would like to go back to Vietnam, where her family is from. She speaks Vietnamese fluently, loves Vietnamese traditions, and her family has incorporated them into her lives.
Man, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good end.
Yeah.
It's a lot different from the stuff that led us to Jasmine.
I wondered if it's like she sent him packing, or did he just drop dead because he couldn't keep up? That's a lot.
she was rock climbing too much.
I rock climb, and then I want to learn a different language, and then I want
I want
to
to
build a
fly around
table.
the world.
And don't you dare sit on that couch. Get back up again. No, we got other shit to do.
Now,
We
what
gotta
if
build a table.
Yeah, we got tables to build here, man.
she's being very specific, though, with the things she doesn't like? What
That's a
if-
good thing.
What if her that's a good thing. What if her that long-term boyfriend was a
3
lazy
years.
piece of shit?
Yeah, maybe it's all in context of who the person is. If that's all you do, I've dated someone like that. That's
Sure.
all they did.
Sure.
I can understand that. That's frustrating.
I get it.
Yeah.
But if it's a Saturday morning and you're like,
Adam is-
hey, it's
Adam is
6:30 in the morning.
hurt.
Let's get out for a hike. Hell to the no. I'm gonna sit around and I'm gonna watch sports highlights and have a coffee and snuggle my dogs, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, so tell you what, the scouting report's bad. Who knows? Maybe when she hits the ice, she'll be great.
She sounds impressive.
There's something there.
Oh, we turned.
Yeah, we
There's-
did. It was the last sentence they got when she got in. Speaks a different language. Wants to go traveling and stuff like. Yeah, interested in all
College
that.
free agent status.
I think
Jenna-
I think she got burned by her ex a little bit.
Jenna, 22, is a nursing student who would do anything to eat pasta with Chrissy Teigen. She says her pet goldfish, George, gives great advice.
That's a great name for a fish. Okay, I like her.
All right.
I like her.
Kiara, 23, is a nanny who prefers napping to almost any other activity. Adam's wheelhouse.
Yo, I feel you, Kiara. Feel you. I'm not saying I need to know more, but I feel her. I love napping.
How old is she?
23.
Okay.
Additionally,
Way too damn young to be getting married. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you can make it work good for you, but
additionally,
I wasn't really a person until I was like 29.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Every year, I just look back at me from 6 months ago and I go, I hate you. What a dick.
Sometimes it's not even 6 months. Sometimes it's like a month.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh.
Wow, I needed to be that piece of shit to realize, wow.
There's nothing worse than waking up the day after being an idiot the day before. Like, just, oh, you idiot.
Kiara also loves talking and says her greatest skill is that she can literally talk to a brick wall about anything and everything.
It's your greatest skill?
That's her greatest skill.
Okay, I want to keep going. I'm
You
going
want
to
a
red
little
flag
more?
because I don't know anything about her.
All right. Let's get a little more on Kiara. Let me just bring up her bio here. She's extremely turned off by men who grind their teeth.
Yo, I have TMJ, you dick.
I don't know what that is.
That's a jaw issue when you grind your teeth in
Is
your
the J a
sleep.
jaw?
Yeah.
All right, I figured out a part of it.
It's totally mental jaw. That's what it means.
Is that actually?
No, it's not, but it sucks.
I believe you.
I can that's why people on the podcast have been like, what the hell is with Adam's jaw? Because I keep going like this
Yeah,
all the time.
you
It's
do
because
like
my
a-
jaw is clicking and popping at all times. I actually made a physio appointment for the first time ever to actually get my jaw looked at.
You ever
Because I'm
got
trying
it
to rehab
broken?
my jaw. Huh?
You ever
Nope.
got it broken?
No, it just sucks.
Kiara's a social butterfly that is ready to spread her wings. While she's very close to her mother and will definitely be looking for her approval the next time she brings home a man, Kiara says she is ready to venture on her own and start her own family. She's been in 2 serious relationships. You know you haven't. You're 23. But both ended because of trust issues. She hates sports but enjoys shopping, fashion, style, and anything involving social media.
Okay, Jasmine, give me the carrots back. This is that's Kiara.
Yeah, let's move on from Kiara. I'm bored.
Boo.
This bores me.
Boo.
This bores me. All right. Katrina, 28, is a pro sports dancer whose mother says she needs to settle down soon because her
Wait, a
biological...
cheerleader?
Yes.
Oh.
I guess the pro sports dancer is a technical term.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Her mother says her biological clock is ticking, which is rude as fuck.
Yes.
She is obsessed with her hairless cat, Jasmine. Last
What?
Halloween, she dressed as Jasmine, and Jasmine dressed as Katrina. Aww.
That's funny.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Do cute stuff with your cat.
Okay.
Kelly, 27, is an attorney who describes her last relationship as a international long-distance affair for which she traveled to Jordan at least once a month.
Red fucking flag right now. Let's go.
Red flag.
Let's deep dive, baby.
Red
I always
flag.
find, can I just say, lawyers are always interesting because they have this job that's like crazy detailed, sometimes monotonous, and then they do crazy shit like an international affair. You know what I mean? Lawyers do weird, like, they really do live up to the Law and Order sort of like, this is crazy.
James Bond, but boring.
Yeah. But there's an element of danger with it. I like it. Anyway, continue.
Her most recent relationship was an international long-distance affair where she was traveling to Jordan once or twice a month, but finally got to the point where she couldn't see herself moving to the Middle East.
That's like a 12-hour flight.
Once or twice a month?
Jesus.
Oh my God.
So
She's
wait.
from Chicago.
2 days out of every 30 were just spent in the air,
On the plane.
Oh, God.
not working.
Wearing compression socks.
Wearing, yeah. All she does is, just Lululemon. They're her
Damn,
best
dude.
friend.
Wow.
Now that Kelly is single, because apparently she didn't like flying back and forth in the Middle East, she is focused on her career as an attorney. Kelly comes from generations of lawyers and currently works in her dad's law firm. It's going to take a lot more than a handsome face and solid resume, though, to impress Kelly, because this lawyer won't settle for anything less than she deserves. No objections here. Did you guys like that one?
Hat tip to the
Do
writer.
you like that one? Kelly is allergic to gluten, dairy, and black tea.
Okay, I'm out. Black tea?
We found it. We found it.
No,
That's
no.
what did it?
Yeah, no, I'm just
Not
kidding.
the first thing I thought of with the Jordan thing
Jordan?
was Jordan.
Jordans.
And the second thing was 90 Day Fiancé, and just every single person on that show, I'm like, what made you think this was a good idea?
Yeah.
You have bad judgment. So I assume she has bad
Yeah,
judgment.
imagine going to Calgary on a plane.
Oh,
That'd be crazy if someone
Stupid
did
idiot.
that.
What an idiot.
flying hours and hours and hours and staying in the same country.
Kelsey,
and-
28, is a professional clothier. Dictionary, it says, a person or company that makes, sells, or deals in clothes or cloth.
What an idiot.
So she
was-
could work at the Gap.
Yes.
Right? Like, I mean, like, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm not demeaning that, but I'm just saying, like, is that a very fancy way to say
International clothiers.
She didn't say she was an international clothier. That you're
No,
taking
I'm-
from the previous one.
No,
She
I'm
just said
saying-
she was a professional clothier.
No, international clothier. like the store. She sells Exco sweaters
Oh!
and black jeans that smell funny. That's what she says.
And fake Canada Goose jackets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian geese.
yeah, Canadian
yeah.
geese jackets.
Come on. Can't pull it fast enough. I grew up in Scarborough. I bought bootleg clothes too.
Canada
Shut
Duck.
up.
Hey, look at this Canada Duck, 100% duck jacket.
Quack, quack, bitches.
Stop
Get
acting like I didn't
international
have Averex
clothiers.
shirts. Stop
Averex
it.
shirts.
I had Averex.
There's like 5 at Dixie Mall.
Yeah.
Oh, bootleg Fat Farm.
Oh, forget that
was all about it.
Pacific Mall. That's where you find it. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Like Ashley S. before her, she says she is like an onion because she has many layers.
Yeah.
That's a cheesy line there, Kelsey. Kylie, 26, is an entertainment sales associate who turned away the last time a guy tried to kiss her and told him that she didn't want to ruin her makeup. She is looking for a rom-com kind of love.
But if you're looking for the rom-com kind of love, well, you know what? It sounds like the guy was probably pretty gross.
Yeah.
Because if someone's hot, you're totally like
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, who
you're
cares?
willing to mess up anything at that point. You good hair, good outfit. Well, you don't care. But he clearly was just the wrong guy. Didn't want to be kissed by him. Good
get-
for her.
Yeah. If you want a rom-com love, you got to drive from JFK to Newark in 20 minutes, like Ross did. Sorry, I happened to watch that episode of Friends yesterday.
A little more on Kylie. Flaky, pessimistic people make Kylie mad. Well, that's kind of everybody. Kylie's dream vacation would be on a safari in Africa.
Okay.
Kylie grew up playing softball and was a batting cage queen.
Oh, so you like her? There you go.
Softball's cool.
Softball's
Yeah.
cool.
Kylie, just nothing kind of strikes me.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, like it's a shame because they start with like some really interesting ones.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think they got to front load it a little bit.
Yeah.
Be
No,
interested.
there's some bangers in here.
All right, let's keep
Okay.
going then. Let's find it.
Lauren, 26, marketing. I don't want to leave anybody out, though.
No.
Lauren, 26, is a marketing executive who wants a man who will hold her hand on the way to church on Sunday. She was a Laker girl for one season, but left because she was so inspired by Kobe's passion for things outside of basketball.
I'm not gonna say it. So Kobe does speak a lot of languages.
Italian. Let's move on, maybe.
Lexi, 26, marketing coordinator who believes dating as a redhead is hard. She is turned off by desperate people and thinks she has too much sass to live in the suburbs.
Oh boy, red flag.
Too much sass to live in the suburbs?
The
Wow.
suburbs can't handle this sass.
Oh no, you can't hold me.
You can't hold me back, suburbs.
Yo.
I got sass.
Every time.
Mow the lawn. What do I look like?
I'm too big for this Costco.
Wait, there's a parking lot at this place? No, I need the city because I got
Can't even
sass.
handle me right now. Oh my god.
So Lexi,
Sorry, I spat when I
smart, independent, and fun woman who is ready to find the future father of her children. She grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, and is one of 6 siblings.
Wow.
She went to
Grew up in Florida. She's nuts.
she went to FSU. She went to-
Sorry, all Florida listeners. That's how it works.
Yeah, Central Florida. Ooh.
and she went to FSU.
Florida,
Yeah.
She is
Yeah.
out of mind.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, continue.
She left college with a very serious boyfriend, but after
then
moving,
what happened?
she moved to New York City, and he ended things so they could both pursue their own careers and passions.
Oh my God, they sound like a Hallmark movie. She's gonna move back to the cookie farm.
Lexi
and she's
stayed in
gonna-
New York and has since been doing well as a marketing coordinator at a real estate company. She's been on a number of bad and mediocre dates around New York and can't seem to find the right guy.
Oh, it's you.
Lexi believes that dating as a redhead is hard, but she's hopeful that Peter will like to spice things up the only way a ginger girl can.
Yeah, if there's anything guys hate, it's redheads.
Yeah, I don't
Shut
think
up, it's you.
You don't blame it on being redhead.
It's
What?
her.
Who doesn't like redheads?
Right.
Why would you care?
That is the. It's
I've
wrong.
dated all sorts.
You ever been talking to a guy and you went, she's redhead though?
Yeah. No, nobody says that.
Lexi thinks it's a problem, and she would rather be buried alive than be trapped in a room filled with frogs.
Is that a thing that is coming?
They probably no. I feel bad for her on that one because the producers probably sit down and go, "Okay, so here's a would you rather?
What are your fears?
What are your fears?
I
Frogs.
don't like frogs.
So would you rather be buried alive or be in
Yeah.
a room with a bunch of frogs?
That's a trap question.
Yeah. I
That's
feel bad for her on that
that's
one.
a one-liner they got out of her.
Yeah.
Lexi loves her home in Florida, but has too much sass for the suburb life. Nothing turns Lexi off more than people who are desperate. That's Lexi.
Wait, you live in Central Florida, but
No, she lives in New York now.
oh, I was about to say, oh, so what she's actually saying is she just didn't like Florida. It's not the
That's it.
suburbs, Lexi,
Yeah, it's Florida. Madison, 23, is a foster parent recruiter who, if stranded on an island, would rather bring the Bible with her.
Oh,
Would want to bring the Bible with her.
such a good start.
She says her husband must share her religious values and want children.
Yeah,
So Madison's just all about religion.
And that's fair. If that's your thing,
That's
your
your thing.
Wouldn't be my thing.
Some people's heroin. Yours is the Bible.
Okay.
The Bible's fine.
Jesus.
Bit of a false equivalency there, but you know,
I'm saying one's better than the other.
other people
Not
like
equivalent.
Other people like to go to Bike Week.
Yeah. Some people like God.
Yeah,
That's fine.
And that's fine.
Go on.
Go on. All right, let's.
Marissa, who has a fun name.
Not Marissa.
Marissa.
Nah, you don't get
I got
Marissa.
it too. I'm not bringing the Bible.
Hold on, did you bring us in? Did you bring us in? No, I brought Marissa. Ooh.
Marissa, 23. There's a lot of 23-year-olds. Is a patient care coordinator who says one of the worst times in her life was being Miss Teen Montana. I can imagine.
I can imagine, yeah.
Terrible. She recently lost 80 pounds, and all of her best friends are at least 10 years older than her.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I think a few things.
What do you
explain
think?
the
What do you
other
think?
there.
What
But
do we?
yeah.
I mean, I think if you're on the pageant circuit in the southern United States, she said she was Montana's north.
She grew up too fast.
Yeah, I think she grew up too fast. She might be an old soul.
Yes.
There you go.
There.
Sounds
it
like
is.
an old soul. Sounds
She
like
might
she
be an
can't
old
relate
soul.
to people her age, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. She relates to people who are a little more mature. She's
Yeah.
at that stage.
Went to
'Cause-
school with Miss Teen.
She said
makeup.
she's serious about marriage and has dated around but hasn't found anyone as serious as she is. She's looking for a man who is fun-spirited but also ready for a commitment.
old soul.
She's 23 and already looking for a commitment. Well,
Old
I
soul.
always wonder about when people say they're serious about marriage. Capri said that to me once, and I said, "What do you mean by that?" And she said, "What do you mean? What do I mean?" And I said, "Well,
And then it was a fight.
And then they said, I'm not eating in this Swiss chalet. Let's move.
we did have a fight over the baby name at a Swiss chalet. That's a good story." But
Oh my god.
yeah, and it was one of those like restaurant fights where you're like, "Oh, I'm really mad at you.
Yeah,
You need to be
'cause you can't
quiet."
yell.
Yeah, I'll tell you that at some other point.
Pass the salad sauce, and also you're the worst.
So it's like when someone says they're serious about marriage, serious about what about marriage?
Yeah.
Serious about making one work? Serious about having the wedding day? What are you serious about? And that's always my thing with people is like be very specific with that with their answer because I'm just from a divorced home. So for me it was like I'm going to get married one time, that will be it, whether it works out or not, that's it.
Okay.
And that's always what I've said. And so when I asked her about that, she was like, well, I want to have a relationship with this and this and this and this. And I was like, oh, you mean it's like for her, it wasn't about the day. It was about the rest of our lives and how that looked. And I was
You
like,
gotta be
okay.
with someone who's more excited about being married than getting married.
Boom. Exactly. So and if you're serious about marriage, does that mean you're serious about being committed? Are you serious about showing it off on Instagram?
Can the suburbs handle her?
I don't think so. I don't think
Wow.
Walmart's ever seen anything like this before.
Damn.
This summer, coming to a Walmart parking lot near you. Jacksonville.
Tammy is a house flipper who joined the boys wrestling team in high school after pushing forward on Title 1X complaint. The title chapter, what is that?
I don't know.
That the girls can play any sports, I think.
Is that what it is?
Rule? Yeah.
I don't
Wait,
know.
what is that? Sorry?
Title 1X? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Sorry.
She's a one-time champion.
It sounds
Is that what that is?
American.
One...
She doesn't relate well to blonde Barbie types. Her license plate says jet setter. Tammy.
Okay, she's going to be one of the more entertaining ones to watch.
Oh, hell
I don't
yeah.
know about the best candidate, but she is producer-picked
Yeah.
to fuck shit
She's
up.
a character.
Yep.
And have you ever met somebody in your life with a custom license plate who wasn't an enormous douchebag? Like one person in your life with a custom license plate that wasn't like, and it doesn't mean you don't love them. You have friends that are douchebags that you love. They're lovable douchebags.
Absolutely.
But they're total douchebag, right? You have to be a douchebag to do that, right?
You got to be at least part douchebag.
Yeah.
You got to at least have
And
some
it's
douchebag ancestry.
I wonder if jet setter is like SETR or something like that. Like it's like, you know, like
Because they can't
Sir.
fit it?
Yeah.
The E is a 3.
Yeah, I bet it is. Because she can't be the first person to have thought jet setter.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. No, I like her because she's there.
Oh,
to...
she's gonna be the entertainment for sure.
Her name might as well be Wrench.
We're gonna do 3 more.
Okay, what I
gonna
love about the show too, by the way, if you ever do watch it, is there's people that make it to the 3rd or 4th round and they've never been on camera.
Oh,
And you're
yeah.
like, who is that? Oh, it's Jenny B. And you're like, who the hell is Jenny B? I don't know anything about her.
I think I'm getting feelings about Paula. Who the fuck is...
Yeah,
I've never
And then
seen
they-
Paula.
And then they throw Paula in there, and it's
Yeah,
crash course
all
on
of a
Paula.
sudden, yeah.
Anyways.
Paula's the main star, and you're like, where did she come from?
Where was she for the first
You're
8 weeks
Jim
of
Ross.
this?
She made several facial expressions over the past 2 months.
It's, yeah, supercut of Paula. It's like, whoa.
Here's a compilation of her saying, "Come on, guys." Just when the fight's getting good.
Well, that's crazy.
You know what? I don't like her.
Anyway, continue.
okay.
Peyton, 23, lives in her parents' basement.
Relatable. I like her.
She recently discovered that she has a 5th sibling via Facebook.
That's interesting.
Oh,
right.
that's cool.
Mystery family.
She has a cute bulldog named Louise.
This is going well. What's her name again?
Peyton.
Peyton.
Not afraid to talk to strangers. In fact, she enjoys it.
I want to know more about Peyton.
Peyton had a serious boyfriend in college and says they were in love. They dated for 3 years, but by junior year, he started getting jealous of her social life and tried to control her.
Ooh.
She lost herself in trying to please him and ended that relationship so she could spend the rest of her time in college having fun.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Peyton describes herself as outgoing and very fun. Back-to-back sentences with fun. She is not very athletic, but loves to be outdoors. Her favorite way to socialize is over a good glass of wine, and she is coming into this with 2 glasses.
Okay.
Hopefully, Peter is thirsty.
Oh.
I'm going to throw it out there. Peyton's top 3.
Yeah.
By the end
she
of this
might be.
season, I think she's top 3.
I like this.
Also,
You know
also,
what? Okay, yeah.
cute accent. She's from Massachusetts.
Mackie Two Shits. Okay. You know what?
Is that the JFK accent? Where's he from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the,
It's Boston.
yeah, it's Boston.
Yeah,
All right.
but Wellesley, Massachusetts.
Whoever the color commentator is
M.A.,
for Jack
yeah.
Edwards, I forget his name.
Were you
Yeah.
watching last night the Islanders Boston
No,
game?
not last night.
Oh man, Jack Edwards had one for the ages. So they were talking about Matt Martin and just glowing about him.
Martin?
And they were like, what the Leafs gave up with Matt Martin. Like, and they were talking about what? Like, they're just so soft. Soft. Talking
We
about
lost to the Bruins with Matt Martin.
No, but the Leafs gave up so much when they gave him up. That's what Jack Edwards had to say. It was just on his. He was on his Jack Edwards train. It was great.
Have you seen his setup? Like what's in front of him? So
No.
there's a lot of play-by-play guys who literally have like a couple pieces of paper with a couple key pieces of information. Jack Edwards has like a 3 iPad setup that looks like Voyager.
Wow.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, you would never think so. But they did like a quick thing on Nesson. We saw this because of ice surfing, of course.
Of course. I saw it too.
I bet you did.
Watched it on replay.
Piece of crap. I like Peyton. No, here's what Peyton is, though.
What? Give it to me.
When you heard that profile, you're like, I think I like her.
Yeah.
But I also don't know a ton about her. Just a little bit.
A little bit of mystery.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
She spent a lot of time on her previous relationship.
You're
Which is to
gonna
get to the
learn-
point that, hey, I'm fun.
Some bomb is going to get dropped about Peyton in week 5 or 6.
Oh, good point.
She
And you-
is mystery bomb waiting to be dropped person.
see, on a show like that, you want to give 80, but hold back the 20%. You know what I mean? Because then it's like it keeps people coming back for more.
I also have a boyfriend back home.
Whoa!
Because you don't know how the
shitty
Bachelor
dude.
is going to think, so you got to have at least 4 time bombs.
But he's hoping to marry you too. Whoa!
We're gonna throuple.
Throuple or not?
2 more. Victoria F., 25, is a medical sales rep who purchased revenge boobs after her last breakup.
Ooh, wow,
She
red
likes
flag.
men who aren't afraid to cry in public.
We'd get along.
Revenge boobs
I don't.
is in the
I
first
cry in
sentence.
public.
How often do you cry in public?
I'm not often, but I'm not afraid to.
No.
I live a fearless existence, Jesse.
If you come downtown on the right day, you will often find Adam and I crying in each other's arms.
Yep, it's true. It's true.
Right on, what's the street right here?
This is Duncan.
Duncan. We always cry right on Duncan.
Victoria is a big fan of country music and will travel to see her favorite artist play a show. The most important woman in Victoria's life is her dear grandmother.
Aw.
She works part-time at a yoga studio, but her true passion is her career in medical sales, where she works super hard.
Yeah, that's a tough gig.
So she can't do it full-time, though, but she also has to work at a yoga studio. That's interesting.
Damn.
Victoria is looking for a guy that can make her laugh and melt her heart. She wants a man who can love her through the good, the bad, and the ugly. She wants a man who can not only give her unconditional love, but can also give that love to her dog, Buxton, because they are a package deal.
Call him
Victoria
Bucks.
says that it's hard for her to know someone likes her unless they are expressing it to her verbally. So good thing Peter has a way with words.
That's
Hey.
important. Your love language is very important.
Your love language is very important.
That was very wholesome after starting with revenge boobs.
Yeah. The revenge mood part was a bit aggressive,
I think
but
it-
we got there.
Yeah, I mean, that was to get us everybody hooked in, right?
Right.
Yeah, revenge boobs. What? Oh, no, and I have a dog.
I worked really hard.
Final Bachelorette.
All right.
Victoria grew up in a small town, but there was nothing simple about her upbringing. Oh, she lost her father at a young age, and both her mother and sister struggled with drug addiction. Victoria grew up fast, and as of 3 years ago, her mother and sister are now both sober and have a stronger family bond than ever before.
Beautiful.
Victoria is on The Bachelor because she has never given herself a fair shot at finding love. She has been in one serious relationship that lasts for 2 years, but his infidelity led him to them breaking up after she stumbled upon a video of her. What is this bio? After his infidelity led to them breaking up after she stumbled upon a video of her ex's phone, which proved that he had been cheating on her. Victoria is a natural caregiver, but is ready to find someone who can care for her as much as she will for him.
Oh my God.
This former Miss Louisiana pageant girl has been forced to grow up fast and learn the importance of finding a supportive life partner. She wants someone who will be a wonderful father to their kids and will be a rock she never had. If Victoria could travel anywhere in the world, she would go to Italy. Victoria's biggest fears are murky waters she can't see her feet in and chicken served on the bone.
What?
Victoria's biggest fears are murky waters she can't see her feet in
Oh, no, I heard you.
and chicken served on the bone.
Why is that a fear?
Yeah, if you can, like you walk in muddy water and you could like
No,
it
the
leach-
chicken.
The
leeches.
chicken
Oh,
part.
the chicken part. She's afraid of the
She has
chicken?
a fear of chicken served on the bone.
Right?
She can't eat chicken that's like a
wanna
drum.
have
She
chicken
can't eat a drumstick or chicken wing. She can't eat chicken wings.
Oh, I don't know about that.
There's another one that they're going to percolate for about a month and a half, where every time a plate is out, she's going to be like giving it this weird look, and the camera is going to focus more and more on it, and then she's just going to flip the whole thing.
It's like
Because chicken.
remember that extreme close up of
can't
the
stand it.
remember that extreme close up of the chipmunk that was viral like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And it'll be like that'll be like her every time there's chicken served on the bone.
Wings? Anyone? And it's sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Bachelor brought to you by Buffalo Wild
Because
Wings.
they always have a sponsor in there.
Oh, they gotta.
If Victoria could travel anywhere in this world, she would go to Italy. I already read that. Nothing upsets Victoria more than finding raisins in her cookies.
Oh, you're wrong. What?
Well, I'm with her if you were expecting chocolate chips. That's a BS move.
okay, who?
You get yourself psyched up for a chocolate chip
before
cookie.
you
Yeah,
eat
who
it.
said, "Hey, here's a chocolate chip"?
Listen,
but it has
sometimes
raisins.
sometimes they get screwed up and messed up, and you're not paying attention because all you're thinking about is getting the cookie. You're not examining the cookie with a monocle or whatever it is you use. I can understand that. I'm with her on that.
If you can't
I
slow
get it.
life down for a cookie, you're living too fast.
All
You're
right,
fast, Steve Dangle.
there's our contestants.
I feel bad for her.
Why?
She should not be on the show.
Yeah.
She needs to find, like, I don't think The Bachelor is typically the healthiest place to find love, and she just sounds like she's had men who treated her like shit her whole life.
Yeah. And I had a very hard upbringing.
The worst part.
Peter better be great.
The worst part.
You
is
better treat her right, Peter.
whenever someone leaves The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, the guys or the girls, it doesn't matter. They're in the car, they're crying, and they're going, I can't believe this happened to me again. And you're like, you had a 1 in 35 shot at this.
Yeah.
The fact that you made it past round 1 is that's amazing.
You're trying to fall in love with somebody you met last week.
Yeah.
Like,
Trying
what?
to find love on national Man, go on Bumble.
Yeah, and you're like, these guys are like, I can't believe that another girl did this to me.
what are they like?
And you're like, dude, can you like just understand that you had a lot of competition on this one and you lost. And not everybody wins the cup every year, man. It's just the way it goes.
There were a
Only
lot of
one
hot people in this room.
What is
you know?
for
You
you?
win the Stanley Cup.
What is for you will not go by you.
Holy shit.
So says I.
You're an old soul.
No, I don't think so. But what it is time
You know,
for
pass this down to Adam Wild. We need to hurry
is
this
our
up.
quick Christmas gift game here.
Questmas,
This is Steve.
Crimin,
Oh, you pass it down to Adam Wild as well.
Merry Chrysler, everybody.
Merry Chrysler.
It's Crimin.
Who's this one for?
There's a card on the side. Don't read the cards on the air because they're very inappropriate. Please don't.
I
read them.
love you.
No, they're not.
I love
There should be a
Crimin.
card.
Love Adam Wild.
Here, let me see.
I don't know.
Let me see.
Oh, there's a card on this one. Jesse in this one.
All right, then that's Steve. Don't read the cards. Just open the pen.
I can barely stand up.
Your presents are here.
Oh yeah, those are mine.
Marked?
Yeah, there's a couple coffee cards in there. You guys don't need.
So Steve has his
hold that up.
wrapping paper. It's Rogers sponsored.
Yeah, I got that done. Adam hasn't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I got that
Oh my
done
God.
at the Rogers at Young and Dundas at the signing I did the other day. I got my own wrapping paper
It's unbelievable.
with my purple Kyle Lowry jersey.
And then who's this one for?
Like that? That is for Everly.
Oh, for the Evie Boo.
Yes, that is for Everly. There you go. You don't need to open that here. And those are obviously for you. They're
you got
coffee
it.
cards because that's what's up the street from us.
Okay.
But
Oh, thank
there you go. What a catch.
Nice.
Steve, open up my gift for you.
Oh, yes. Wait, is that this?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, this coffee card's a DIY
It
Christmas.
feels like a yellow sweater.
Oh, no way!
Oh, yeah. Okay, here.
Hold on,
Hold
I
that
guess
up
it-
for the camera.
Well, I guess I should open mine too, huh?
Yeah, you probably should.
way!
Yeah.
You did it!
Oh no.
We got no tweet first shirts.
Yeah. Tweet first. Think
Mrs.
later.
Dangle made that on the cricket.
Oh, shit, camera died. We're out of battery.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
All
you got
of
new
them?
battery. Yeah, all of them are dead.
Oh, great. Oh, awesome.
You can't see our no tweet first.
Hold on.
Jesse's going to get batteries.
Oh,
We'll pause. We're pausing.
We're back. The camera died, so I had to change it. If you missed it on the camera, Steve has his own wrapping paper that he got done through Rogers.
And
Yes.
check out this.
And we got t-shirts.
Yeah, it says no tweet first.
I love it.
And it's Adam's face. That is from Don't Call Me Katie on Twitter.
Okay, Catherine.
Her name's Caitlin, damn it.
Sorry.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know, I'll talk to her. Maybe we'll sell them.
Yeah, because
I
we can't make the t-shirts unless she tells us we can use
Yeah,
her
it's her design.
Yeah.
But we,
Yo, we'll split the profits.
yeah, the professors. Mrs. Dangle made this on her cricket machine.
So this is a thing that she has that she just does crafts on.
It's magic. It makes everything. She's
Really?
done like woodwork with it. Like,
Interesting.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm gonna open this green present. I'm assuming it's from
That's
Jesse.
from me.
Jesse
yes.
got me a Pokemon shirt. Pallet Town. The journey
What?
starts here. Oh, I love this,
I'm
Jesse.
gonna fight you, Jesse.
The Farmer's Almanac.
So this is probably the most difficult gift I've ever had to track down. But I got an
Why? Because
official.
no one's buying them
I
anymore?
got an
I can't
official-
imagine why.
They literally sell them at Shoppers Drug Mart. Have you not seen them?
I went to the Farmer's Almanac. I went all the way up to Antarctica, where their headquarters with Santa, and I got
And you
one.
met Mr. Almanac.
I met Mr. Almanac Santa.
He's been alive since 1854.
And I got out an official Farmer's Almanac 2020 guide.
Great,
that
I'll
a
read
good-
from it.
Ah, this is awesome! Look at this damn book.
What is that? Oh, it's a mug?
It's a
Yeah.
It's the biggest mug
Steve,
I've
open
ever
yours.
seen.
Open yours.
Open yours.
They're similar.
This is incredible. Look.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got one of those too.
Adam got a pet treat launcher. I
Right.
guess you put treats in it and you shoot your dog with treats?
No, you shoot them over your dog so they run after them.
No, you shoot it at them. You shoot it right at their face.
Right directly at the dog's face.
That's fun.
What enormous mug did you get me? Oh my god!
Cheers me.
Oh, it's a glove.
It's a glove
Look.
mug. Isn't that the best mug ever? So cool, right?
I love that. Hey, if you want to spill your coffee,
Jesse's
You get
hands
this
are
mug.
definitely too big for it.
Yeah, I can't like get in there.
Mine are,
I
like,
can-
look at that.
I can do it with 2 fingers.
Yeah, but anyway, I just thought they were cool.
They are.
You know,
Dude,
sometimes
that's so
you have
good.
mugs that you just put pens in. I thought that might be one of those mugs. I'm
No,
not sure if you
drink
drink out of
coffee
those.
of those.
All right, there you go.
I love that.
I got you a couple other things there. Also this one.
Oh, thanks.
I don't even know. Oh, I think I destroyed the box.
Oh, Jesse knows me.
Whoa.
Kit Kat bars, my favorite. They
Also
are my
this one.
weakness.
Oh, and a
Oh.
Maple Leafs crispy present.
Yeah, I got you a little
ornament.
ornament too, Jesse. There's a Christmas ornament.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Oh.
I gotta put this back. So,
So
destroy
the
it.
interesting thing about the thing is they didn't have the rights to the Toronto Maple Leafs, so they make it themselves, but they call it the blue shirt home team.
Yeah, just blue
ornament.
jersey.
They went the Jeffler route, did they?
Yeah. I'm just gonna do this and hope no one sues.
This is Phil Kessel's face, straight up.
Jesse got me the sea salt Lindors.
Oh,
Delicious.
That's a good friend.
He knows I like chocolate. He knows. All right, and there's one more thing here, and I just want to. Can we just have a close up of this wrap job?
Hey.
here?
Hey.
Can you just put the camera over?
No, I can't. That camera's dead.
Jesse, that is real
That's great,
good.
isn't it? Wow, that's real good. All right, what did he get? Jesse, I'm gonna be so fat.
Those
God.
are the good shits.
G Cube's milk chocolate Godiva.
The Godiva.
Do you want to try a
Oh.
G Cube?
Yo,
open that
give me a
up.
G cube
Yo,
there,
Do
G.
you want to keep this? It has your face on it.
Yeah, sure.
G Cube, G
Yeah,
Cube.
maybe I'll wrap Mrs. Dangle's presents.
Do you want caramel?
Yeah.
Do you want
bro.
milk chocolat? Or do you want milk chocolat?
Hit me with this, whatever I'm holding right now.
Throw me one.
Milk
Anyone.
chocolate.
Oh, I'm
Now I'm
sorry.
gonna eat this into a mic so all the people with misophonia lose their mind. Oh my god,
Wow,
Jesse, that is to die for, sir.
that's a good chocolate.
This is gonna be a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, I got one from Steve. Well, that's forever. I'm gonna wait on that one.
Yeah. Wait on that.
All
one.
right. Well, listen. It was
We're
a
done.
party. Happy flipping New Year and Christmas, and whatever else you celebrate. Thank you so much for listening throughout the entire year. It was a year for the books, I have to say. Most listened to, most watched, most everything year.
A year for my book specifically, available anywhere that books are sold.
Did you write a book this year?
Yeah.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness. Connection complete.